Washington, yes, their numbers are not great, but their quarterback efficiency against the guys they've played have not been bad, in part because of the presence of Braylon Trice. He's going to really shorten that window for the quarterback to make a decision. His numbers aren't off the charts, but he can certainly impact the game from that edge rusher position.
Captains on their way to midfield now for the coin toss. The referee from the Big Ten is Ron Snodgrass.
Captains come in and greet each other. Assisting with tonight's coin toss is Chris DiBiase, Executive Vice President and Chief Legal Officer for the Allstate Corporation. Please welcome Chris. Texas, as visitors at tonight's game, you'll call the toss. Tonight's coin, the Allstate Sugar Bowl logo will be the head. The college football logo will be the tail. I'll ask for your call before I flip the coin. You're going to repeat his call. What's your call?
Tails.
Tails. He's called tails. We're going to let it hit the ground. It's a head. Washington has won the toss. Washington won the toss, deferred their choice to the second half. Texas will receive. Texas will receive. Which goal do you want to kick from? Put your backs to the goal.
So Texas will get the ball first. Both coaches said it's important to get the lead. Washington in particular, when they get ahead early, they get into a rhythm and they do a very good job of protecting that lead.
Get the first half of this game after a long layoff is also massive too. So getting the jitters out, getting a couple drives under your belt is very, very important in this setting.
We have two great sideline reporters with us. Let's go down to Katie George.
Coach Sarkisian, your team has embraced expectations all season long. Why is your group ready to excel in the national semifinal?
Well, I just think we're built for this moment. You know, our guys have worked to get to this point. We played in a couple really big ball games. We've always performed well in the moment, so I'd expect nothing less out of them tonight.
It's been a long layoff. How do you make sure that these guys start fast?
Well, we got to practice really well, which I think we did. We got to call some things to find some rhythm early in the ball game.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Molly?
Thank you, Katie. Coach, Texas starts with the ball. What does your defense need to do against Quinn Ewers in that passing attack to keep them from getting some momentum early?
Yeah, I think just recognize, what they're trying to do and trying to establish. I know they're going to try to get some looks and see what our game plan is. And so recognizing and doing your job.
Your players have said this team's physicality is underrated. What kind of physicality will it take to win tonight?
Yeah, it'll take our best, and we can rise to the occasion. We've shown it many times, and we have all the confidence in the world that we can make it happen.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Sean.
What a job Kalen DeBoer has done in 2 seasons in Seattle. 24-2. Washington riding a 20-game winning streak, the longest in FBS football. Quinn Ewers will get the ball first off the best performance of his career 1 month ago in the Big 12 Conference Championship game victory over Oklahoma State. This is new. Jaden Blue is back to receive the kickoff. He has not returned kickoffs this year. Steve Sarkisian said he's ready for it. He's an explosive runner. Grady Gross kicks off, and this semifinal is underway. Returnable for Blue. And the decision by Sarkisian to use him pays off immediately with a 31-yard kickoff return against one of the best kickoff coverage teams in the country. So here comes Ewers, the sophomore from Southlake, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Has had a terrific second season with the Longhorns. His completion percentage was best in the Big 12. And last time out, the Big 12 championship most outstanding player, he threw for a career high 452 and 4 touchdowns in the win against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. He opens with the true freshman running back, C.J. Baxter. And a whistle. Before the snap, there was a false start.
Illegal snap infraction. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Jake Majors, the center.
He just hesitates a little bit with that left hand before he snaps the ball. It's very loud here in the Superdome. And obviously after a long layoff, a little jittery out the gate for the Horns.
Veteran offensive line for Texas. They had all 5 starters back from last year. That ball deflected and fluttered through the air in the general direction of Adonai Mitchell. Jabbar Muhammad was closest to it. Looked like MJ Ale made the deflection for the Washington defensive line. Here's Baxter. First down with a 16-yard run. Alfonso Tupatala, one of their 2 linebackers, made the stop.
And split zone action is a big part of what Texas does in the run game. It forces those linebackers to move side to side. They see the movement by the tight end. They run into each other, and Baxter has a nice gain.
Out of the pistol now, a play fake by Ewers. He was surrounded, but still managed to get it off. Incomplete, intended for Adonai Mitchell. Elijah Jackson in coverage, one of their cornerbacks who started every game this year.
Big part of emphasis for Steve Sarkisian when setting up his plan is in the first 7, 8, 9 snaps. He wants every one of his playmakers to at least get one look. He feels like that's getting them started into the game, and it'll kind of start their offense in a good way, making sure everyone's involved.
Sarkisian is the play caller. The fake to Baxter, another deflected pass. And it'll be 3rd down and 10. Dominique Hampton, the safety, got his hands on that one.
And a good job by Hampton. You see the eyes in the backfield. Texas, a heavy RPO team. That's actually a called run. Ewers sees the safety come down. He decides to pull it, tries to throw it around him, but Hampton leaps and makes a play.
Third down and 10. Huskies thought Majors, the center, was guilty of another infraction. Over the middle and incomplete. Trying to get it to Jordan Whittington with Hampton in coverage.
Great start by the Washington defense. It's been talked all throughout December. Hey, this is a bit of a weak link. The passing game of Texas is going to exploit a defense in the secondary that has had some trouble. And they get Texas behind the sticks and force an early punt.
Ryan Sanborn is the punter. First year at Texas as a grad transfer from Stanford. Short, wobbly kick, but it took a great bounce for Sanborn, and it goes down the 11-yard line. Wound up as a 44-yard punt. Here's Michael Penix Jr. in his 6th year of college football from Tampa, Florida. 4 years at Indiana. They were injury-filled. And now in his 2nd season as a record-setting quarterback at the University of Washington. Heisman Trophy runner-up to Jaden Daniels of LSU. His 2nd-place finish in the Heisman balloting, the best in Washington history. .6'3", 213 pounds. Opens with Dylan Johnson, who's had a terrific second half of the season, as the running back. The tight end Jack Westover, the motion man. There's a flag down. Here's Jalen McMillan ahead for 3. But we'll check out the flag. Texas was offside.
Offside. Defense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Baron Sorrell on the edge. Just a little anxious to get this thing going. You see as the motion, Westover moves to the outside. That forces Baron Sorrell to move forward just ever so slightly into the neutral zone. And it's 1st and 5 for Washington.
Washington, by far the more penalized team this season of these two. In fact, they were the 2nd most penalized team in the country. Still managed to go 13-0. Dylan Johnson. Husky fans didn't like the late activity. Baron Sorrell involved again. It's a 3-yard gain for Johnson, who got off to a slow start in his first year in Seattle. Had knee injuries when he arrived in the spring, really set him back, and he found a rhythm, as you can see, in the second half of the season.
And he's really been at his best against their best opponents, against Arizona, Oregon, SC, Utah, against the best defenses they've seen. He's really played at a remarkably high level to take some of the pressure off the passing game.
They lean heavily on the pass, but they've run it much more lately. Johnson got close to the first down marker, driven back by Tavondre Sweat, and it is a first down.
You reference it, Sean. In September and October, nearly 2-to-1 pass to run, and the plays called by the offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. But in November, it got much closer to 50-50, actually 55% pass, 45% run, and that's helped out an awful lot in some weather games and has also allowed for more one-on-one coverage outside against these elite wide receivers.
On 1st and 10. 3 minutes in. Play fake by Penix. They brought extra rushers to the horns, and the throw's right on target. Jalen Polk spins away. Jalen Polk being chased and tackled by Terrence Brooks at the 2-yard line.
And tremendous protection up front, because this V route, this deep post corner, takes forever for Polk to get there. And how about the throw by Michael Penix? I mean, right in the bucket, exactly where it needs to be, and Polk does the rest. Nearly scores. Terrific start for Washington.
A big play offense. They had 83 plays coming into tonight for Ryan Grubb of 20 yards or more, 7th most in the nation. And they'll pass several of those teams ahead of them tonight. On 1st and goal, Johnson to the end zone. No signal yet. The Husky fans think they scored. It is a touchdown.
And a great job by the left side of this offensive line. It just collapses down. But Johnson, one-on-one there, meets Michael Taft there, the safety, and he just powers forward. Would not be denied on that carry. Tremendous effort from Johnson.
His 15th rushing touchdown of the season. They went 89 yards in under 3 minutes. The big one, the 77-yard completion. Penix to Polk. Grady Gross, the extra point. Michael Penix, a great deep ball thrower. And right on target to Polk. Johnson punched it in from the 3. 7-0 Huskies. Welcome back to the All-State Sugar Bowl on the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Washington out to a 7-0 lead. Michael Penix 1 for 1 on that opening drive, a 77-yard pass. The 4th longest completion in Sugar Bowl history. So Jaden Blue back for the kickoff. And Grady Gross will kick off. Sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. Sends it down to the 3-yard line. Here comes Blue, who faked a pass and goes down at the 25-yard line. 22-yard return. And a slow start for Quinn Ewers, 0 for 4 on their first possession. Top high school prospect in the country in 2021. Abandoned his senior high school, went kind of abruptly to Ohio State, reportedly for more than $1 million in NIL money. It didn't go well, played very little. Transferred back home to Texas. Was the starter last year, had a good season, but as Greg said, much better this year, in better shape, more of a team leader. And led them to their first conference championship since 2009 in their last year in the Big 12. Jaden Blue tackled by Carson Bruner, a gain of 8 on the first play of this series.
A big part of Quinn Ewers' maturation process was a better foundational understanding of the offense, but don't waste plays. Too often last year, he's throwing into coverage, pushing it downfield unnecessarily. He's taking what the defense gives him and has been much more efficient.
21 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. A lot of faking. And it winds up as a screen to C.J. Baxter. Again, the creativity of these two offensive coaching staffs, it'll be on display over and over again tonight. That's a 32-yard play for Texas.
And they actually pull the right guard, Campbell, back to the left to kind of confuse those linebackers and slow them down. Baxter gets out to the right. He's got plenty of help out in front. Jatavion Sanders and company lead him for a nice gain.
Nothing new, the yards after the catch. They're a very good screen team. And they have a lot of screens in the playbook. 4-man rush after Ewers. He takes off running with a lot of room and slides down with a first down. They'll mark him where the slide began at the 24.
Is well covered in the back end. This is a part of his growth. Doesn't like anything downfield. Don't waste it. Get what you can get. He takes off. He doesn't run often, but when he does, he's very effective. Coming into the night, 26 carries this year, but of those 26, 5 went for touchdowns, so he's been very smart with when he uses his legs.
Originally committed to Texas, then decommitted to go to Ohio State. A fake in each direction, but nowhere to throw it. So he uses those legs again to go down to the 20-yard line for a gain of 4. He says he doesn't regret any of the decisions he made when he decommitted from Texas and went, surprisingly to many, to Ohio State. He was widely criticized, and a lot of Longhorn fans didn't like him very much, but they love him now.
It's hard to leave home when you grow up as Curtis and Kristen Ewers look on very proud. It's hard to leave the state sometimes. I think everyone that played college football understands that, but he's back at home and is making the most of it.
Baxter, true freshman, inside the 10. With a first and goal at the 7-yard line. A 13-yard run for the freshman from Orlando, one of the top running backs in high school football a year ago. Baxter started the season opener at running back, first freshman to do that since Ricky Williams. In 1995, Jonathan Brooks became their featured running back and was one of the best in the country. He tore up his knee late in the year. Jordan Whittington delivers a stiff arm, knocked the helmet right off Benefuan Ulofosio, and he'll come off the field.
Whittington's so strong in that stiff arm. Full extension, but Ulofosio is able to drag him down, and Ulofosio and Tuputala and Carson Bruner, the 3 linebackers, going to have their hands full tonight. Steve Sarkisian is the master at deception and fooling linebackers, so it's going to be very important for those guys to play at a high level.
Washington play this play without their first team all-conference linebacker, second leading tackler on the team. Jaden Blue, touchdown. Longhorns running in every direction, and it seemed to confuse Washington.
And an excellent job by the left side of this offensive line. You're going to see double teams across the board. Kelvin Banks, the left tackle, and Hayden Connor just moved that Washington defender off the point of attack. Lou cuts right in behind him, powers his way to an answering touchdown.
75 yards in 3:55, blew the touchdown. His third rushing touchdown of the season. He's basically been splitting time with Baxter as the lead back since Jonathan Brooks went down after 10 games. Extra point good by Bert Auburn. Entertaining start. And as everyone expected, the offenses moving to center stage very quickly here in the Superdome.
CFP semifinal at the Allstate Sugar Bowl is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And Gatorade. Gatorade is helping millions play. Gatorade. Fuel tomorrow.
Allstate Sugar Bowl parade through the French Quarter and around the streets of New Orleans. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, and Katie George are on the sidelines. Jaden Blue, the game-tying touchdown for Texas. And Will Stone will kick off for Texas. About half of his kickoffs this year have resulted in touchbacks. Daniel Ngata back deep. Line drive kickoff lands near the back of the end zone. Well, here comes Washington. Scored very quickly on the opening possession, led by Penix, who started his career at Indiana and had 4 straight seasons ended by injury, twice a torn ACL. The other 2 were upper body injuries. Transferred to Washington in part because he was reunited with Kalen DeBoer, had been offensive coordinator for 1 year at Indiana, and boy, has this pairing worked. He's thrown for more passing yards the last 2 years than anybody in the country, and was runner-up to Jaden Daniels for the Heisman Trophy. His teammates very disappointed he didn't win it, felt that he should. Dumps it off for Dylan Johnson, and a good tackle near the sideline by Ethan Burke. As a matter of fact, we spoke to Rome Odunze, who was disappointed he didn't win the Blitnikoff Award. He said, yeah, I was disappointed, but I was more disappointed that Michael Penix didn't win the Heisman, because we all wanted that for him.
And it tells you what kind of teammate he is. He's from Florida. He said he is as relatable and as easy to connect with as anybody in the entire locker room. So when he came over from Indiana, he was an immediate leader, and he has taken off with this offense.
Leading the nation in passing yards this year, 324.5. Another tackle by Ethan Burke on Dylan Johnson. No gain on the play. And here comes 3rd down.
One thing you got to be careful of if you're Texas's pass rush is on this 3rd down, Washington will occasionally mix up their snap count, have a slight hesitation. Pete Kwiatkowski has probably coached those guys on it, because that slight hesitation leads to a lot of guys jumping off sides. You got to watch the ball if you're the Longhorns defensive line.
Texas' 2nd best 3rd down defense in the country for Pete Kwiatkowski. Their opponents converting just 26.5%. Only Georgia better. The play clock almost all the way to 0. Penix had Johnson on a check down, passed it up, throws incomplete. Trying to get it to the tight end, Jack Westover, at the 40-yard line.
Just took Penix too long to find Westover. They're in zone coverage, and Westover's wide open right there in the middle of the field. He can easily get that up and over a linebacker. Instead, Penix doesn't see it, escapes the pocket, has a rare miss as they have to punt.
For the first time, Jack McAllister is their punter, sophomore. So now each punter has already punted as many times as he did in the conference championship game. They each punted once. Xavier Worthy A 6-yard return of a 39-yard punt. Josh Cuevas made the tackle. You're watching the Allstate Sugar Bowl. This season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. 7-7 the score. 5:25 to go in the first quarter. Rough first possession for Texas, but then they marched right down the field the last time they had it. They spread the field with 5 receivers. And a 4-man rush, and Ewers goes down. Braylon Trice. Loss of 6.
And his sack numbers are not ridiculous, but his presence is always felt by the quarterback. This time working against Christian Jones, the right tackle, sets him up, upfield, slips underneath. Quinn Ewers can do nothing but eat the sack. Great pass rush by Trice.
Junior from Phoenix. Kyle Flood, the offensive coordinator for Texas, said they were most concerned about him, the kind of guy who can really disrupt the game. On 2nd and 16, Baxter for 2. Here's Katie George.
Well, Sean, this is Texas's 3rd series of the game, but it's worth mentioning this is still their opening script. Steve Sarkisian says he scripts the first 40 regular down and distant plays of the game, which is way more than most teams.
Normal number is somewhere between 10 to 15, so to go 40, and obviously op script here on a 3rd and long, probably thinking screen.
Huskies showing blitz. And they drop out of it, rush 3. It's a quick pass to Xavier Worthy. There's a flag down during his run after the catch. Husky fans convinced it's against Texas. It was an 11-yard gain. He did not reach the marker. So if it is against Texas, Kalen DeBoer will have a decision to make. He's already indicating he wants to accept the penalty.
A rare mistake here by Jordan Whittington.
Holding, offense, number 13, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Jordan
Senior came back for another year and has been rewarded with a trip to the college football playoff.
And a great play by the corner, Jabbar Muhammad, slipping inside, just goes right around Whittington, who whiffs on the block, has to grab the jersey, and that's what results in the hold.
So 3 penalties against Texas. They were in the middle of the pack in the country in penalty yards the regular season. As we mentioned, Washington averaged 74 penalty yards per game. Only New Mexico saw more flags. 3rd down, 17. Ewers with a lot of time. And there's another flag thrown when you expect a holding call. It's caught. And it would be a 1st down for C.J. Baxter to the Washington 48. But the referee, Rod Snodgrass, threw the flag, and it is a hold, and they'll take it.
Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Christian Jones gave up the sack a moment ago.
No question.
This time, just grabs that jersey very obviously against Tunaufi. Another lost yardage play by Texas. That's now a handful of penalties, 4 for 30 already.
48th career start for the 6th-year player Jones. 61st career game. He'll be going to the Senior Bowl. They're in reverse. 3rd and 27. Baxter to the 25. Texas with more folks in the seats as you'd expect. It's a border state to Louisiana, while Washington's fans had about 2,500 miles to travel. And Texas fans aren't happy with the officiating at the moment. Of course, the Washington folks thought they were going to be going to the Rose Bowl. If Georgia had won, the SEC was the #1 seed, they would have come here. And Washington would have gone to the Rose Bowl. But that didn't happen. Good punt by Sanborn. Where are they going to mark it? Looks like they're going to spot it right on the 20. It's a 55-yard punt. The Stanford transfer. Michael Penix and the Washington offense on the field when we come back.
We believe it could beat anybody in the country. Every win means a lot, especially in the college football playoffs. You only get one chance. A win would take us to the national championship.
Don't get angry with me.
1 week from tonight, Monday, January 8th, 7:30 on ESPN, the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Michigan awaiting the winner of this one. The Wolverines won a scintillating first semifinal in the Rose Bowl in overtime, 27-20 over Alabama. This one's tied at 7. 2:34 to go in the first quarter. Dylan Johnson collared after a 1-yard gain by Tavondre Sweat. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, before Washington's final team meeting last night, quarterback Michael Penix went to Kalen DeBoer and requested a players-only meeting. They kicked out the coaching staff, shut the door for 20-plus minutes. DeBoer told me he has no idea what was said, but Penix spoke to the team, and when he entered the room, he said you could hear a pin drop. It was silent and all business, guys.
These two have a history together. He saw Kalen DeBoer, the National Coach of the Year. Penix off his back foot, single coverage, caught. Jeremy Bernard with Ryan Watts in coverage, a gain of 29.
A great job by Penix, who got hit too up front as the offensive line whipped a bit. Jeremy Bernard working against Watts on that slot fade. He holds Jaron Thompson, the free safety, in the middle of the field and drops it right on the sideline for a big gain.
Such a good thrower, particularly outside the numbers. He had more than 2,000 of his passing yards outside the hash marks. Most in college football this year. He's already thrown for 111 on 3 out of 4. They move the pocket, and he throws incomplete. There was contact, but the ball was not catchable. Giles Jackson in the vicinity. Keaton Crawford in coverage for Texas.
Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator, said we have to move the pocket a little bit against this defensive front. They're too good. They're too disruptive. Penix wants to operate from between the tackles. That's where he's most comfortable, but you have to do it to just change the launch point and give those guys a different picture so they can't tee off.
And Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator for Texas, said we need a rush, but it's hard to get to him. We need to try to disguise our coverages and confuse him and make him hold the ball longer. They did rush him, and he still got it off to Giles Jackson. The transfer from, Rome Odunze made the catch for a 24-yard gain.
And just an unbelievable pass rush there by Byron Murphy. He just whiffs on the sack. And how about the move, too, by Michael Penix? Quick step to the left. You see how quick that release is? He just throws darts. And the Odunze is on the receiving end, keeping his eyes downfield. Terrific play by the quarterback.
For 24 yards. First catch of the night for Odunze, 82nd of the season. He was a top 10 pick in the estimation of Mel Kiper Jr., second-ranked wide receiver. Behind Marvin Harrison Jr. of Ohio State. Middle screen. It's Odunze again. That's a 3-yard gain, which means with 27 receiving yards, he has just set the single season receiving yardage mark in University of Washington history by 1 yard over Reggie Williams. 1,455 now for Odunze. Very entertaining first quarter. The All-State Sugar Bowl in this college football playoff semifinal.
Coach, what does your offense need to do to score here?
Yeah, it's all about finishing and just continue to fundamentally do the right things. You know, we're making the explosive plays. I'd like to get the run game a little more consistent here, but Michael's doing a good job moving in the pocket, and the guys making plays on the field.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Just 9 yards rushing, but Penix threw for 138 in the first quarter, including a 77-yard play to Jalen Polk, the second longest pass play in college football playoff history. Here's Tybo Rogers. Down at the 6-yard line, tackled by Jalen Ford, the outstanding linebacker, but 17 more for the Huskies.
And a great read, too, by Penix. This is the defensive end that he's reading as he starts to play upfield. Penix can pull that and run it himself. Instead, he hands it to Tybo Rogers. He's got a lot of speed for a freshman. They believe that he has a very bright future in Seattle.
Only 38 carries all year coming in. Missed some time for disciplinary reasons. First and goal. It's Jeremy Bernard who lined up as a Wildcat quarterback. He faked the reverse and carried inside the 3. A flag flies and a mock cheer comes up from the Texas partisans below us. They believe it's going to be the first penalty of the night against Washington. Steve Sarkisian did have a long chat with Ron Snodgrass, the referee, at the end of the quarter.
Personal foul, illegal low block, defense number 6. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, the Texas fans did not get what they were hoping for. It's Ryan Watts.
And Watts is engaged with Nate Kaleppo, and Kaleppo's trying to pull out. This is a new rule that was instituted a couple of years ago as we look at the AT&T connected cam. He goes low on Kaleppo, and that has been taken out of the game because of injury, and a wise call there by the official.
So 5 penalties against Texas and none against Washington. First and goal from inside the 2. Dylan Johnson got hit behind the line of scrimmage and stopped for no gain. Alfred Collins, backup defensive tackle, had the penetration. It's not just Sweat and Murphy up front, as Tavondre Sweat reminded us yesterday when we went to meet with him. He brought 7 other defensive linemen with him. Said it's not just me and Murphy.
Each one as impressive as the next. They're all very disruptive and really put together a complete unit for Pete Kwiatkowski.
Second and goal. Penix under center.
Watch the fullback dive.
And it's Johnson for the touchdown. They lined him up as an offset fullback with Bernard behind Penix. Second touchdown for Dylan Johnson.
And they get motion, jet sweep motion, to get flow from the linebackers at the second level, and they just hand it right there underneath to Dylan Johnson. He walks into the end zone, which is not something that's very easy to do against that Texas defensive front.
Both of these teams so well coached on offense. Creativity. Grady Gross the extra point. They went 80 yards in 9 plays to take their second lead of the game. Johnson just 10 yards on 7 carries, but he's been in the end zone twice. Taco Bell and the College Football Playoff are bringing the best of the regular season to the College Football Playoff by creating the Live Moss student section. Taco Bell has provided tickets for students from schools participating in both CFP semifinal games and the national championships. The most passionate fans can cheer on their team. This is a very loud venue ordinarily, and even more so tonight. Grady Gross, a touchback.
Texas has a lot going right now with misdirection offensively. They get things started with the split zone. Watch the linebackers run into each other because of that movement, and it's a big gain for Baxter. Similar play here. A little more movement with the jet sweep as well. It stays play side, and Baxter continues to run hard, and then the touchdown for Blue is all washed down by the left side of the offensive line. He cuts it all the way back and powers his way into the end zone. Steve Sarkisian putting a lot on those linebackers for Washington with misdirection and eye violations.
Sarkisian, of course, a former head coach at the University of Washington for 5 years, his first head coaching job. Ja'Tavion Sanders dropped immediately. Ulofoshio again for Washington for a 3-yard loss.
Ulofoshio, a great job of identifying this. They throw this little screen to Sanders all the time, and it's been very effective. When he's on the field, this defense has been really different. He's missed a bunch of time the last couple years.
Ewers steps up, throws, and it's incomplete. Very well covered. Intended for Xavier Worthy. Jabbar Muhammad had the coverage. He's an outstanding player, second team All Pac-12 in his first year in Washington after 3 at Oklahoma State. Texas is 0 for 3 on 3rd down, and this one is 3rd down and 12. A screen for Whittington. And he got to the 31, still 4 yards short of the line to gain. Cameron Fabriculanen made the tackle for Washington. And after a bit of a hesitation, the punt team will come on.
Texas has got to stop with the negative plays. They've been behind the sticks multiple times, and this pass rush for Washington, I know statistically speaking not great. They could certainly have an impact though, so Sarkisian and his staff, they need to stay on schedule moving forward.
Bernard wouldn't muff the kick, and Texas has it. He tried to catch it at about knee high, and he did not corral it. Maurice Blackwell came up with the football for the Longhorns at the Washington 22.
What a huge mistake here as Bernard, like you said, Sean, tries to catch it off his shoelaces, doesn't play it properly. The AT&T connected cam shows that Texas clearly secures it, no problem whatsoever. Just a first critical mistake for Washington that they played so clean and so beautifully in the first 19 minutes of the game.
Bernard transferred from Michigan State, originally committed to Washington under the previous coaching staff. Went to the Washington campus for a bit, decided to transfer to Michigan State, then felt that he wanted to return. Kalen DeBoer welcomed him back. He didn't welcome that play. Right up the middle, Baxter. Banged around after nearly 10, just shy of the first down. Well, both coaches talked about turnovers and what figures to be a close game. Second and 1. Ja'Tavion Sanders, the tight end, the motion man. Baxter with room outside. And he powers down near the 5. Alfonso Tuputala, the tackle. There is a flag down.
Illegal shift. Number 0 in the right guard. Offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's got to be so frustrating for Steve Sarkisian. Yet again, Ja'Tavion Sanders telling us guys, hey, cool it, man. Just keep your head in the game. Got to be a little smarter. That time the right guard, Campbell, and him moving at the same time.
6 penalties against Texas. None against Washington. After the fake, right on target to Whittington is Ewers. He broke a tackle or two and made it down inside the 1.
And just a great job here as you see the eyes in the backfield Ewers sees it. He works Whittington on the RPO right behind it. As you can see, Fabiculanen actually triggers into the backfield. He throws right behind him, and Whittington nearly scores. An eye on big number 90, Byron Murphy, the fullback dive. Here he is.
And T'Vondre Sweat is in as well at the right end. They block this time for a Texas touchdown. Byron Murphy powers it in, a 1-yard rush. That's the third big man touchdown of the season for Texas. His second. He caught a touchdown pass against Wyoming.
And that's 2 fullback dives for touchdowns, 1 for Washington and 1 now for Texas as Byron Murphy surges forward, and a great job by the right side of the offensive line, putting a dent in that front, leading the big fella to pay dirt.
6'1", 308 pounds. The extra point good by Bert Auburn. Set up by the muff punt by Bernard. They needed just 3 plays after Whittington got them down to the 1. Murphy, another touchdown. 14 apiece.
The CFP semifinal at the All-State Sugar Bowl is brought to you by Verbo, private vacation rentals, football away, and Taco Bell.
Both of these universities well represented here in New Orleans this weekend. Attend the 2024 College Football Playoff National Championship with Playoff Premium, the official premium hospitality program. Suite and ticket packages include premier seating, all-inclusive hospitality, exclusive access, and more. Visit playoffpremium.com to book today. Tied at 14 in the second semifinal of the day. Michigan, the winner in the Rose Bowl in overtime, 27-20 over Alabama. The Wolverines next Monday night in Houston will meet the winner of this one. And another good line drive kick by Will Stone, sophomore from Austin, with another touchback. Kalen DeBoer, 49 years old, native of Millbank, South Dakota, community of about 3,500. And what a career he has had. Very successful head coach at the University of Sioux Falls, his alma mater. 5 years there, 3 NAIA national championships. Decided to try to take it to another level. Started out Southern Illinois, Eastern Michigan, Fresno State, Indiana. Made his name as a great offensive mind. Got a chance to be the head coach for 2 years at Fresno State. How about that record? 103-11. He was 67-3 at the University of Sioux Falls. Penix launches one deep, and it is caught by Roma Dunze. Even though it looked like his shirt was getting tugged for a while, he still, as usual, managed to make a contested catch, one of his great strengths.
He's unbelievable. Gained 14 pounds in the offseason so he can make catches like this, get stronger. Draped all over him is Watts, but it doesn't matter. The throw is absolutely perfect from Penix. And even though he was grabbed, Dunze reels it in.
For a 52-yard gain. The officials stop it before the snap.
Officials timeout for the line to gain equipment.
The crew with the yardage markers. Some technical difficulties. About the only thing that could slow down this passing attack for Washington. Penix up to 190 with still 9.5 to go in the half.
That deep ball accuracy, though, I mean, the guy is just ridiculous. I mean, on throws that travel more than 30 yards downfield, he completes nearly 53%. 8-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. I mean, he could just drop it in from anywhere, and he's done it multiple times tonight.
His overall completion percentage 66%, which isn't dazzling, but as Ryan Grubb said, we throw the ball downfield more than any team in the country. The pitch back to Dylan Johnson. And he got stood up by Michael Taft. Managed to bounce ahead for a couple more. Taft, a former walk-on, was the first walk-on put on scholarship by Steve Sarkisian. And Sark's 3 years now as head coach at the University of Texas. 5-7 in his first year. 8-5 last year. 12-1 in year 3. A 49-year-old native of Southern California. Johnson straight ahead behind the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. Byron Murphy made the tackle. Devondre Sweat nearby as well.
Even though there's not a lot there in the run game up the middle, you have to stay committed to it. You have to deliver the body blows. And even though Washington isn't having a ton of success with it, they are staying committed to it and staying patient offensively.
Parker Brailsford, the center for Washington, just 275 pounds. But he's holding his own. A couple of big guards next to him. And right up the middle they come, right on cue. That play dropped for a loss by David Benda.
And Benda right here at the top of the screen, he's getting everyone lined up. He says, I got to do it myself. So he goes, nobody accounts for him, and he drops Johnson behind the sticks.
And Brailsford actually held up his man. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1. And Dylan Johnson's going to take the direct snap. Up the middle. And it does not appear he got there. He did not. Trying to follow the block of Jack Westover. And Texas takes over on downs.
Officials timeout for a measurement.
Well, unless those lines are way off. He came up well short.
And it's Byron Murphy again. I mean, he's just so disruptive, number 90. He splits right between the two offensive linemen on the right-hand side. He kind of slows down Johnson initially, and then he gets wrapped up by the surge.
Here come the newly repaired sticks. They're well short. Well, he talked about it at the outset of the telecast. The Joe Moore award-winning offensive line against that stout middle of the Texas defensive line. That time, Sweat and Murphy prevailed. You're watching the Allstate Sugar Bowl. The National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Prepper will be presented next Monday night at NRG Stadium in Houston. So the winner of the national championship game between Michigan and the winner of this one, the college football playoff bracket, brought to you by AT&T. Very entertaining first semifinal in the Rose Bowl. Michigan won in overtime. 27-20 over Alabama. Here's Jaden Blue weaving his way for 12 yards and a first down, tripped up by Asa Turner, excellent safety who missed a lot of the season.
It's big to have him back. They started as many as 5 free safeties this year, but Turner's their best one.
Had hand surgery a couple of times. Ewers wants to launch one deep for Xavier Worthy, and he's well covered by Jabbar Muhammad, who's the first cousin of the cornerback for Texas, Malik Muhammad. They're very close.
He's their best cover guy. Try to go with a double move to Xavier Worthy. Muhammad isn't fooled, stays on top, turns around, tries to play the ball. He's tremendously well covered there by the corner.
They crowd the line, and it paid off. It looked like Blue might escape for a moment, but he didn't get away from Braylon Trice. It's a 2-yard loss.
We got another third down for Steve Sarkisian, where they're in 3rd and long. Really struggled in this down and distance so far. They're 0 for 4 on 3rd downs, and they got to get in more manageable situations.
Yeah, that's been the problem. All 4 of them have been 10 yards or more. to go. This one's 12. Ewers, pressure right in his face, and the ball drifts incomplete. Xavier Worthy was breaking open, but he couldn't find the football in the air. Didn't know where it was.
And it was Carson Bruner that applied the pressure and forced the ball out of Ewers' hands really quickly. The center Majors thinks he passes it off to his left guard, but he never picks up Bruner. And Worthy had a step, and if he had just a little bit more time, he would have been able to throw that ball just a bit further and complete the catch, but Worthy never saw the ball in the air.
So Sanborn again. And this time the fair catch made by Bernard. His muff punt was turned into 7 Texas points. 51-yard kick for the Stanford transfer. You're watching the All-State Sugar Bowl. Stay tuned for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. Reese Davis, Joey Galloway, Desmond Howard standing by. Long day for those guys, but an exciting day after the thrilling first semifinal. Michigan's overtime win over Alabama. And a very entertaining All-State Sugar Bowl here in New Orleans. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, and Katie George on the sidelines. Texas and Washington tied at 14 with just under 6 minutes to go. Till the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. Jalen McMillan throws back for Penix, and it's incomplete.
And this is one that they're going to go back to the film room tomorrow, and everyone's going to have a bit of a chuckle depending on how things turn out. But this could have been a big moment, if not for being tipped slightly by Anthony Hill. It looked like there was not a lot of players out there wearing white jerseys, and Penix had some room.
Dylan Johnson, some running room outside to the left. He's to the 30-yard line for a pickup of 6. Anthony Hill Jr., outstanding freshman linebackers, the Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year, combined with Jalen Ford on the stop. 3rd down and 4.
Keep an eye on Rome Odunze. He's their go-to guy. On 3rd down, he's lined up at the top of your screen. He gets a one-on-one or a good look for him. That's where the ball's going.
There hasn't been a 3rd down conversion in this game yet. 4-man rush. Penix fires, and a great tackle might have prevented the 1st down. Jalen McMillan got blasted immediately by Jade Barron, but they are going to mark it at the 34-yard line with just enough for a 1st down.
And it was well done by McMillan.
I don't know.
Looks like he's a little bit short.
Not sure that ball ever got to the hash mark of the 34-yard line. Texas doesn't think so either. They marked it beyond the 34.
Ruling on the field was the receiver made the line to gain. The play's under further review.
The replay official, Brian Smith, Mike Conlon in the booth.
And this is tough on the receiver. 3rd down, you got to get your depth. I mean, that's the key. And this time, McMillan doesn't get enough depth. He's hit immediately as he catches the ball by Barron. Obviously, the line is not official, but it does look like he's short of the line to gain as we look again from the AT&T connected cam. It's a good shot of it. I don't think it ever gets to the 34-yard line where the ball is currently spotted.
Well, that's the key, right? The yellow line's not official, but it's incredibly accurate. The bigger point is they spotted it just beyond the 34, and it didn't look like it even made it to the 34-yard line hash mark. Barron, the big play, outstanding defensive back, Jim Thorpe Award semifinalist, senior from Austin. One of our favorite notes of the year from the Big 12 championship game, named after Sade. Like Sade, he's a smooth operator.
Smooth operator. Great play there, too. I mean, good form tackle, understanding the line to gain, and as the officials now on the field are moving it back just ever so slightly, it would indicate that this call is going to be overturned correctly.
Yep, they've already moved the ball back. So here's the question. I mean, the gutsiest 4th down I think I've ever seen a team go for it.
The receiver is short of the line to gain. It's 4th down.
was in their last game of the regular season, trying to play for the Pac-12 title, trying to stay undefeated and get in the CFP. They were tied at 21 apiece with under 2 minutes to go on their own 29-yard line, and Kalen DeBoer went for it on 4th and 1. Not only did they pick it up, it was a big gainer, and they went down and kicked the field goal with no time left. That takes guts.
Unbelievable dice roll and perfect execution, but the last time they had short yardage, they ran right up the middle, and you don't want to run into the teeth of the Texas defense. You try something on the perimeter, even a quick throw potentially, something high percentage, but I would not advise running right up the middle.
They ran up the middle with Johnson, the Wildcat last time. He got stuffed. Penix just trying to draw them offside. Now Johnson comes up closer. I don't think the horns are going to fall for this. Will they call a timeout and go for it, or will they take the penalty? And they didn't go for it a lot prior to tonight. Just 15 times to 4th down. Of course, they're so good on offense, they don't get to 4th down a lot. But here it is, the Apple Cup, 1:07 left in the game. And not only go for it, watch this play.
Unbelievable. You fake down up inside. They had success running it inside earlier in the game. Washington State completely sells out against the inside run, and they pitch it to Odunze, who takes it for a really nice gain. I mean, just as bold as it gets and tremendous execution.
Said the more he talked to Ryan Grubb about, the more he liked the call. The defense obviously be expecting something inside. And he said, why not in that situation give the ball to your best players?
Do you call it again here since the offense is back on the field? Go to the well again, Sean? What do you think?
I'm with you. I don't think I'd run straight up the middle again against this Texas defensive front. Will they snap it this time? They run it right up the middle. As we said, definitely just run it straight ahead for the first down to the 38-yard line. 5-yard gain on 4th and 1.
And this is all made possible by the left tackle, Fatanu, who just completely moves the Texas defender off the point. They run right behind him for the conversion.
He's the best player on that offensive line, the left tackle. Tremendous feat for a big man. It looked like Penix might have been across the line of scrimmage as he threw to Dylan Johnson. No flag on the play, and the completion goes to the 49-yard line of Texas for 13.
It was really close as Penix climbed in the pocket. He flirted with going across the line of scrimmage. You have to go completely across the line of scrimmage before you release the ball for it to be an illegal throw. Right there, it's tough to tell, but it looked like his feet were beyond. And right here's a great look at it as his arm, as appears, gets behind the line of scrimmage.
The quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage. We'll review the play.
The entire body has to cross the line of scrimmage for it to be ruled an illegal forward pass. Right there, it looked like his feet were, but his body was behind, so based on a couple looks that we've seen so far, I would expect this play to stand.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Sean. Greg covered it extremely well. The problem here, without a shot right down the line, it's just hard to tell if that hand and shoulder is still in the line of scrimmage when he throws it. But I do think this call will stand. I just think it's too close.
And again, Matt, what's the standard to judge if he's actually across the line?
Every bit of his body has to be across. So let's go with the ball. Everything has to be beyond. If he's got a foot trailing, a heel, a shoulder, anything, then he's okay.
And I think based on that, the play's going to stand as called.
That's what I think. I just don't think there's enough to tell me without a shadow of a doubt he was beyond.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
Tremendous awareness by Penix either way. I mean, knows exactly where the line of scrimmage is. He flirts with it, stays wide enough. Yeah, well, when does luck become a great play? I suppose. I don't know. That right there was hitting on 17, and He drew a 4. That was well executed.
He's up to 206 yards. He's only thrown it 10 times. 8 out of 10. Tybo Rogers comes back in at running back. Freshman from Bakersfield, California in the pistol. They faked it to him. And it comes to Odunze. Tackled by Ethan Burke. Odunze, a junior from Las Vegas. Many believe he's the best receiver in Washington history.
To be honest with you, Sean, I think he was the best receiver in college football this year. I voted for him to win the Biletnikoff. I think he had that much of an impact on his team's success. All those close games, all those critical moments that he stepped up and made a play. Couple that with the production. I think he should have brought home that coveted award. I'd love Marvin Harrison, but man, it's hard to overlook what Odunze accomplished this year.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, you look at the big catches that he made. And because Washington substituted late, Texas needed to be given time. They alertly took their time, so Kalen DeBoer uses a timeout.
Washington, they're second. This is a 30-second timeout.
One timeout left for the Huskies. The NFL season finale is here. The race to the playoffs is on. It's an NFL doubleheader Saturday, starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens at 4:15. The Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts at 8 p.m. Both can be seen on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus. Congratulations to John Harbaugh. Vince Young on the sideline. Of course, the quarterback when they won the last national championship. Nice couple of days for the Harbaugh family. John Harbaugh's Ravens clinched the #1 seed in the AFC. Yesterday, they hammered Miami. And, of course, Jim Harbaugh, the overtime win today in the first semifinal.
Yeah, quite a couple days for sure. And it's pretty amazing to see what the Ravens are doing right now on both sides of the ball.
What they've done is all right, all right, all right. Matthew McConaughey, no bigger, Longhorn fan, on the sideline, apparently working for us tonight. Penix retreating, but still on the money. Terrific catch by Jack Westover. Excellent athlete. He's made several important acrobatic catches. This one wasn't the highest in terms of degree of difficulty.
And look at how he throttles down just a little bit. He turns around. Penix assumes he's going to keep going, but because of the zone coverage, Westover kind of slowed his momentum. It made what would have been a routine catch a little more difficult, but a great job reeling it in by a very underrated player and piece to this Washington offense.
He played only 2 games of high school football, did Westover. Penix going deep, man open, and it's one of the few times he missed on a deep ball over the head of the other tight end, Devin Culp, like Westover, a 6th-year senior tight end.
Man, this is one that Penix is going to want to have back. He's got Culp wide open, working against the linebacker, throws it a little bit too flat, and Culp can't catch up to it. He's their fastest weapon at wide receiver, or at tight end, excuse me. Ran 10.6 in the 100 meters in high school, but not fast enough to catch up to that one.
6'4", 237 out of Spokane, Washington. Penix had completed the previous 7. 2nd down and 10. They're in field goal range. Pressure. He stepped away from it. Fires, and it is caught on the deflection. Jalen Polk, the touchdown off the hands of Malik Muhammad. 29 yards.
And just a great route here by Polk. Watch how quickly the safety drives on this inside post. He triggers immediately. Penix moves in the pocket so beautifully. Throws a strike. It's nearly tipped. But Polk keeps his concentration and reels it in. What a huge play for Washington.
Well, for the 3rd time they lead. Previous 2 occasions, Texas got the tying score. Brady Gross, one of the heroes of their season, with that game-winning field goal in the Apple Cup with no time left. He added the extra point.
And this is just a dart. It's really well defended initially. I mean, Muhammad almost gets 2 hands on the ball. The ball is just out in front of him. Polk never loses sight of where the ball is at. It's tipped up, and he reels it in. Great poise and execution. Does a little shimmy in the end zone. Well deserved after a terrific play.
There's a lot going on here.
Penix maybe cooking the gumbo there, I think, a little bit, perhaps.
You know, Nate Coleppo told our colleague Cole Kublik, he is the left guard for Washington, that he gained 12 pounds here this week with the rich food, great food. One of the great restaurant cities in America, New Orleans, but it's not exactly the place to go if you're trying to start the new year with a new diet.
No, I had to bring my biggest suit, knowing that I was going to grow a couple sizes from the time we arrived on Friday to the time we went on the air today. But it's one of the great cities in America for high-end cuisine, and we have certainly enjoyed our fair share.
Penix was 5 out of 6 on that drive, completions to 5 different receivers. Both Polk and Odunze were 1,000-yard receivers this year. So many weapons who can hurt you. Between Odunze, Polk, and McMillan, they had 17 combined 100-yard receiving games. And McMillan only played in 5 games.
It's unbelievable. I mean, McMillan, just the thought of him being available all season long is just scary. I mean, see just how much he means to this team.
Here's Gross. Returnable. Jaden Blue again from the 1-yard line. So they'll start just shy of the 30 with all 3 timeouts in a minute 20.
Michael Penix is dealing a hot hand, but you can't play quarterback by yourself. Texas decides to bring a little heat. They end up bringing 7 with some green dog pressures, but the offensive line, the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line, holds up nearly 3.5 seconds or just over and throws a strike on the post corner. Really nicely done, but how about the movement in the pocket? Look, you're not going to block Byron Murphy and Devondre Sweat all night long. You just can't. Doesn't matter how good you are. Penix makes him right, moves in the pocket, and throws a dart downfield. And he does it again here as he fades the edge pressure and throws another touchdown to Jalen Polk.
Ewers out of the shotgun. Quinn has another pass batted out of the air. Tuli Latui-Nasanoa knocked it down.
Been a little quiet tonight. He's a big run stopper in the middle of that defense. Missed a couple games, but he's the anchor. He's been quiet there and gets a hand on a pass, though, when he couldn't rush the passer.
Ewers just 5 out of 13 for 61 yards. In the flat and caught by Blue on the move. Scampers out of bounds with a first down at the 39-yard line. 11 yards on the play. The sophomore from Houston.
Texas has plenty of time. No need to be in a hurry. 3 timeouts at your disposal. Understand that one of those timeouts has to be reserved for the field goal kicker. So no sacks in this situation. Get the ball out quickly and continue to be methodical.
Four-man rush, well blocked. Blue is open and dropped the ball. They had the running back down the sideline and hit him in the hands, and he couldn't corral it.
And that's the exact matchup you want if you're Texas. You have the speedy Blue who can hit 22 miles an hour working against Ulafashio. Perfect throw by Ewers, and he just can't reel it in. Would have been a huge play for Texas.
Great call by Sarkisian. Should have been executed. It was not. Ewers put it right on the money. It is now 6 out of 15. Very accurate passer ordinarily. He's on target there. Jatavion Sanders, first down to the Washington 47.
They got to get Jatavion Sanders going a little bit in the second half of this football game. He's matched up against a couple safeties that have had some challenges at times with really athletic tight ends. So they had kind of been quiet at this point. Just 2 catches for 12 yards, but he's going to be more involved in the second half.
95 career catches. 4 shy of the Texas tight end record held by David Thomas. C.J. Baxter stood up, and a quick timeout used by Sarkisian.
Charge timeout, Texas, their first. A 30-second timeout.
Over to the sidelines, it looks like mayhem is added again.
Yeah!
That actually was mayhem. That's not the way that was supposed to go. And we'll do that again.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Allstate's been great to us. We'll do it as many times as we need.
Yeah, that was mayhem. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy. Entertaining start, as we thought these teams would go up and down the field, and it may come down to which team makes the plays on defense or a turnover or two. And right now, a key play in the first half was that muff punt that led to a Texas score.
Yeah, that was massive, and that was the biggest mistake in the game. And Texas has really been their own worst enemy. They haven't been very efficient on first and second down, so they played behind the sticks on third down, and those are just low probability conversion attempts.
Texas has been outgained 306 to 173. But the muff punt helped. There's Sanders again lunging for the line to gain. It looks like they're going to give it to him. 2 timeouts, plenty of time, 48 seconds left. They stop it for a moment to move the chains. They have an excellent kicker in Bert Auburn, but they're thinking about 7, not 3. His career long's 54. Ewers just did get it off. Whittington got all he could and then scampered out of bounds.
In this section of the field, you're kind of right on the fringe of field goal range. This is when the defensive coordinator for Washington, Chuck Morrell, will probably try to call some pressure, see if he can't knock you out of field goal range. Maybe Quinn doesn't see it and gets hit. Next thing you know, a 50-yarder becomes a 58-yarder momentarily after one bad snap.
There's Morrell, co-coordinator with William Inge. Morrell calls the defenses. He goes all the way back to University of Sioux Falls as a player and a teammate of Kalen DeBoer. He got some pressure from a 4-man rush, forcing Ewers to scamper, and as he went out of bounds, he stumbled a bit. And he's back up on his feet. 5-yard gain.
Extends a little bit, tries to stay in bounds. Trips over his own left foot. Looked like he probably would have had the line to gain.
Looked like some of our crew on Bourbon Street last night.
Not last night. That was the night before, maybe.
Yeah,
Yes,
curfew last night. Everybody adhered to it. Still not a third down conversion. This is 3rd and 1 out of the pistol with Baxter, the running back. Ewers faked it to him. He can run for the first down. He can run for a lot more and slides down. Then got a hit, and here comes the flag against Asa Turner. This will be the first Washington penalty of the game. He'll get them down around the 3-yard line. The Horns with 20 seconds and 2 timeouts.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, defense, number 20. After this is through the goal, first down.
Wisely done by Quinn Ewers to get down. Don't take an unnecessary hit. And at that point, Asa Turner was really already committed to trying to make a tackle. The late slide kind of fooled him, and Quinn Ewers' parents look on. Clearly happy with the call. Another great play by the quarterback.
Mom Kristen happier when she saw her son get up. He grew up dreaming of being the Longhorn quarterback. Told us it was already a dream come true to lead them to a conference championship. Well, they're playing for more now, trying to advance to the title game in a date with Michigan, trying to tie it for the 3rd time in this opening half. Baxter, touchdown, Texas.
And just a great job here by the center Jake Majors, these guys moving that defensive front, the right tackle as well. Wow. Christian Jones, just so much movement on the goal line. Majors has reason to celebrate. He meets Baxter in the end zone. He wouldn't have gotten there if not for the terrific block by the center.
72 yards on 10 plays. Auburn, his third extra point. He's made all 113 in his Longhorn career. Leads to the long line of outstanding kickers at UT. C.J. Baxter into the end zone. And for the third time tonight, they've come from 7 down to tie it.
Even Ewers getting in on the action too. He got him there with some timely throws, a couple timely scrambles.
The penalty hurt, but not a lot. I mean, they were going to be at the 6 anyway. It was a 21-yard run. They added 3 to it.
Great 2-minute operation, though, to steal some momentum before the half.
5th rushing touchdown of his freshman season for Baxter. Stone has been kicking touchbacks here in the first half. They kick it deep again. Sometimes late in the half they squib it. As I mentioned earlier, it's about 50% touchbacks for the year coming in. 44 touchbacks, 91 kickoffs. But indoors tonight, he's been booming it. And there's another. All right, we're going to try this again. Hopefully this time it really will be mayhem on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You know, even creating mayhem on our telecast. I guess that's fitting. Second time's a charm. It looks like Washington will be content to take a knee. Big half for Penix. 11 out of 14 for 255, but not good enough for the lead. They found a way to win the close ones all year long. Has Washington. Their last 3 wins by a total of 8 points. Well, Ewers and company have been dominating lately. Here's Katie George.
Thanks, Sean. Coach, you played behind the sticks a decent amount there in the first half. What did you like about your offense's efficiency on that final drive?
Well, we got to quit getting in our own way. You know, we have some unforced errors with some penalties and different things. I thought we settled down a little bit once we got going. But we got to try to stay out of these third and longs and get to more third and manageable situations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Molly?
Coach, Texas keeps responding. That muff punt was costly. How do you hold on to a lead in this game?
Yeah, I mean, we get the ball to start the third quarter here, so that's big. We just got to keep swinging, keep playing. We've been in these situations so many times. We understand what it takes. Yeah, we can't have the costly mistakes, but you know, we'll all pick each other up and go make the next play.
You've had some explosives in the passing game. How do you continue to take advantage of those matchups?
Yeah, that's what we do. We got a lot of threats out there, and so a lot of different ways to attack, and so we'll just keep with the plan, you know, and keep attacking.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Sean.
They win the close ones. Each of their last 9 games, all wins decided by 10 points or fewer. 21 apiece at the half. We'll send you to the studio for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report after these messages. Welcome back to the All-State Sugar Bowl from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Second college football semifinal of the day. Michigan beat Alabama in overtime earlier today. So they'll play the winner of this one in the national championship game next Monday night in Houston. Tied at 21, a statistical edge for Washington. They outgained Texas 305 to 213. Big first half for Michael Penix. 255 yards through the air. What do you look for here as we go to the second half? Feel like Washington really did have an edge in play, but they're tied.
They did. The big muffed punt was huge. Naturally, that led to 7 points for the Longhorns, but Washington's been able to take advantage of Texas's safeties. I mean, they've hit several big plays down the field to their outstanding wide receivers because they're getting in one-on-ones against lesser cover guys. And then for Texas, they have to continue to stay committed to the run game. Now, that hopefully for them, will open up a few things downfield because it's been a little dink and dunk up to this point.
Ewers was 9 out of 18 for 97 yards for Texas. Penix 11 out of 14 for that 255. Will Stone kicks off. And it's another touchback. Let's check in with Katie George.
Guys, just a quick update. Texas true freshman safety Derek Williams is available to play here in the second half after missing the first due to a targeting call he received during the Big 12 championship. Pete Kwiatkowski says he's excellent in coverage, a physical, athletic kid that's not afraid of the moment, and his addition should help Texas's back end and hopefully minimize some of the explosive plays we saw in the first.
And that was potentially a massive loss in the first half, and it kind of proved to be true. They took advantage several times of Michael Taft and Jaron Thompson, and Derek Williams, even though he's just a freshman, he is their best cover safety. So if he gets involved in a one-on-one, Texas might have a little better chance against these receivers.
Texas was offside on the kickoff, so they add 5 yards. And Michael Penix Jr. begins from the 30. Jack Westover moves out in motion. Dylan Johnson, the running back. It's Westover the catch. He runs over the tackler, Malik Muhammad. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, I talked to Washington head coach Kalen DeBoer about what he wants to see in this first offensive possession. He said we need to keep attacking. That is who we are. That's how we're going to get into a rhythm to start the half. He said he wants them to run it on the edge a bit more, and his O-line is holding up well against this defensive front in pass protection. They're keeping the pocket clean, but he said run-wise they've struggled with some short yard situations. That needs to improve, guys.
Penix has not been sacked. That's not unusual. They gave up only 11 sacks all year. A big part of it is he gets it out quickly, as he did there. And they scheme that as well. Jalen Polk the catch for the first down.
Gets it out really quickly, but he also did an excellent job in the first half of extending plays, moving off his spot while keeping his eyes downfield and locating some guys that become uncovered. So he's got to continue to be good in the pocket, be decisive, and continue to stay accurate down the field.
If you're just joining us, Washington has never trailed. They've led 3 times by 7 points. Texas has tied it each time. The fake to Bernard. Penix slides down with a first down. In those 4 years at Indiana, he used to run a lot more, but after the injuries, he's really become much less of a running threat.
As a result right here, they've run this play over and over again. This time, the linebackers flow. The defensive end stays wide. He takes it for a nice gain.
12 yards. Tybo Rogers comes in as the running back in the pistol. We cut it back for 2. Byron Murphy at the bottom of the pile for Texas.
Back to the play a moment ago, Sean. I mean, Michael Penix just isn't a guy that runs it an awful lot, and they've had several called quarterback runs where he's reading a defensive end. That right there on a 12-yard carry was actually his longest gain of the year. And prior to tonight, just 19 carries on the season. So not a guy that does a lot with his legs, but still has that capability in there if the opportunity presents itself.
Rogers goes out in motion to the right, a 5-man rush. Penix just did get it off. There's Rogers, made the man miss, made Jalen Ford miss, and then slipped down to his frustration. And no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for Washington. Not in field goal range.
Possible 2-down territory here for Washington. Not a team that goes for it a ton on 4th down, but Ryan Grubb here probably get a good indicator of what Kalen DeBoer is telling him about their 4th down thought process based on the call.
Dylan Johnson back in a running back. They bring pressure. It was well blocked, and it's on target. Penix to Jalen McMillan for a first down for 11 yards.
That's just such an easy completion for Michael Penix. I mean, it's just wide open. I mean, the guy that's covering McMillan is 12, 13 yards off as he spins down and never really attacks the line to gain. I mean, that's just poor defensive technique. I understand you want to disguise, but you don't want to give up an easy completion on a speed out that easily moves the chains.
It's the first third down conversion of the night for Washington. 1 out of 4. Quick flip to Jalen Polk. Transferred from Texas Tech after 1 season there. He's inside the 20, 13 more. They had 7 plays of double digits in the first half, 5 of them for 24 yards or more.
Jalen Polk from an outstanding high school program in Texas, Lufkin. Same high school as Des Bryant, Jaworski Lane, some great college players, some great NFL players, and he's brought a real toughness to this wide receiver room all season long.
And again, deliberate. They frequently run the play clock down a lot. In the end zone, touchdown, Jalen McMillan. 19 yards, and the Huskies lead for the 4th time tonight.
And the safeties split right here. McMillan works right to the middle. He knows where the void is. The safeties are late in communication. Nobody takes the middle. Penix anticipates the throw and threads the needle right between the safeties for a nice touchdown on the opening drive.
McMillan's first touchdown of the night is 4th. Grady Gross drives home the extra point. He hasn't missed one this year either. Neither of these kickers has. 70 yards in 8 plays. Penix a perfect 6 out of 6 for 56 yards and a touchdown to McMillan.
Time for our moves on the field, presented by Chick-fil-A, and it comes from the Rose Bowl in overtime. Michigan and Alabama, Blake Corum. Look at those moves on the field and running through the defense and going in with what proved to be the game winner. Michigan got the stop in their turn in overtime, and they are off to the national championship game.
And they'll play the winner of this one. This one bunted down the field by Grady Gross. Keelan Robinson back deep for the first time tonight. Jaden Blue have been pretty effective. They put Robinson back there. He returned one for a touchdown against Texas Tech. Their last regular season game. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Devondre Sweat, after that Washington touchdown, was limping around on the sideline, and he's on the bike. Outland Trophy winner, best interior lineman on offense or defense. Unanimous All-American, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. They need him back out there. First chance for Texas on offense in the second half, and it's C.J. Baxter. The ball comes out. Couple of Huskies say they have it, and the officials concur. Well, the coaches said the turnover margin might be the key, and that is the first Texas turnover of the night, knocked out by Braylon Trice.
Braylon Trice is just relentless over and over and over again, chasing the ball, this time taking his right arm, swatting the ball out. It bounces around for a moment before it's secured by Asa Turner and Dom Hampton. A huge play, sudden change, and if you're the Huskies on offense, this might be the time to go for the jugular. Call a shot play, sudden change, plus territory, throw it down the field, and see if they can make them feel it.
Well, there's a high percentage they call a shot play about every other play.
That's a good point.
Launching it deep down the field.
Playing the odds.
From the 33-yard line, they're right on the edge of field goal range, trying to take the first 2-score lead of the night. They fake the short one. They throw for Westover, and another perfect throw with a couple of Longhorns nearby. Westover to the 14-yard line, 19 yards on the completion.
Well, they go with the shot play. They try to fake the screen underneath. Westover releases right around. I mean, this is perfectly covered. I mean, that is a really tight window from the opposite hash. That ball's in the air 30, 35, 40 yards on a rope between two defenders, and Westover reels it in. Penix is on fire here to start the second half.
And putting on one of the great performances in the 10-year history of the college football playoff. 18 out of 21 for 330. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. They can't sack him. Dylan Johnson inside the 10. Meanwhile, Ewers way below his usual numbers. 71% completion for the year, just 50% tonight, still below 100 yards passing. After 4:52 in the Big 12 title game against Oklahoma State. Johnson taken down by Baron Sorrell. T'Vondre Sweat is not in the game right now for Texas. And here he comes on now for this 3rd down and 3 with 8.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Then they run the play clock way down. Johnson in trouble, and he'll be stacked up for a loss. Birkin on the play, Murphy there as well. And there's an injured Husky, Devin Culp.
And here's big T'Vondre Sweat. He just completely blows this play up as Culp is trying to work across, collides with Sweat, and allows Ford in the backfield to make the play on a big 3rd down stop for the Texas defense.
We'll see what Kalen DeBoer elects to do on 4th down when we come back.
The CFP semifinal at the All-State Sugar Bowl is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. AT&T, connecting changes everything. And Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
No fighting in the French Quarter last night. Everybody on their best behavior here in New Orleans on New Year's Eve. It's been a scintillating day of college football action on New Year's Day. Michigan to win in overtime over Alabama in the first semifinal, and now Grady Gross is trying to give Washington a 10-point lead on 4th and 5. He's on to try a field goal of 26 yards. Had an excellent year. 13 out of 17. Jack McAllister, the punter, is the holder. Right down the middle. He provided us, and Kalen DeBoer did as well, one of the great moments, touching moments of the college football season. We mentioned the Apple Cup. They went for it on 4th and 1 in their own territory, marched down the field to set up Gross with no time remaining, a 42-yard field goal to win the game. Then this.
And you know what I hope Grady Gross is thankful for? The scholarship he's earned.
First of all, Kalen DeBoer is a really good guy.
Yeah, he is.
And secondly, that I've seen that video 5 times now. I talked to Gross about it yesterday. He said that wasn't even the best part. He said, my parents didn't know. Obviously, he's paid his way through the University of Washington for a year and a half. So my parents were at the game. They were staying at an Airbnb down the street. So I went and I told them, and they completely lost.
Really?
Imagine what a moment that might have been for the Gross family, Mike and Beth, the parents. So a 10-point lead, the largest of the night. Texas still has not led in the game. Robinson, a little bit of trouble at the goal line. And he made it only to the 20-yard line. Tackled by Javion Green. The NFL season finale's here. The race to the playoffs on. And a lot of those teams you see on your screen trying to figure out if they're going to be in the playoffs or not. Not the Baltimore Ravens. They'll be the #1 seed in the AFC, hosting the Steelers in the renewal of that rivalry at 4:15. 8 o'clock, the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. Steelers currently the #9 seed. They'll need a win and some help to get in. Texas has one play here in the third quarter. And it was a turnover. We're nearly midway through this quarter. Here's Blue. Well rested. And ahead for 16 yards. Chopped down by Asa Turner and Dominique Hampton.
Texas just has to continue to commit to the run game. They're moving the ball with great efficiency, averaging 7 yards a carry. Just stay true to the ground.
They do. And another good run on first down. That was a problem in the first half. They averaged 2.9 yards per play on first down to 10.6 on first down for Washington. Hard to imagine that the game was tied at the half given that disparity. And a flag for a false start against the Longhorns.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
A terrific sophomore left tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr., first team all conference this year.
Here he is. Moves quickly and then he drops his head immediately. Usually if the guys put the hands to the roof of the building and say, no, what, not me. That time admitted defeat after the sudden flinch.
Yeah, when you're 6'4", 324 and you flinch, it's going to be difficult to go unnoticed. 68,791 here tonight. That's a sellout in the Superdome. Adonai Mitchell has had a very quiet night. Greg, we came on the air talking about each team had a terrific trio of wide receivers. The Washington trio has dramatically outplayed the Texas threesome.
Yeah, it's really not close, and they have to get Adonai Mitchell going. I mean, he's their biggest, longest wide receiver, their best weapon down the field, and Worthy's been pretty quiet as well.
That was the first catch for Mitchell for 5 yards. Worthy has one for 7 yards. Under 6 minutes to go. 3rd down and 5. Pressure. It's Trice again. Ewers just got rid of it. Floated it towards Sanders. Braylon Trice, a man again against Texas as he was in the Alamo Bowl last year when he was the defensive MVP.
And this is double A gap, but they actually, instead of walking linebackers up right over the center, they bring their best pass rusher. And you might want to account for him, especially given the fact that he's already made a few plays in the backfield. Miscommunication between Jake Majors and DJ Campbell, the right guard. And Trice delivers the hit.
5th punt for Sanborn. And it rolls to a stop at the 19. You're watching the Allstate Sugar Bowl.
Washington up 10, but running back Dylan Johnson has been grimacing in pain, walking with a limp on the sideline, talking to athletic training staff about his right foot. Remember, that right foot was injured in mid-November, and he's in obvious pain now. But he told me he will do anything to stay in this game and told teammates he'll keep playing through the pain, guys.
Well, he's been doing it for a while. There'll be other running backs around the country who want to hurt their right foot if they could play like he has these last many games, including the 152 and 2 touchdowns in the conference championship game against Oregon when he was limping throughout. Here's Jalen McMillan. Out to the 30-yard line, an 11-yard gain. There's Arch Manning, who's the backup to Ewers. He's been doing some throwing and stretching on the sideline. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with Ewers. I can't imagine you make the quarterback change now, but Manning is the backup with the transfer to Duke from Malik Murphy. It's possible Manning would have been the backup anyway. In recent weeks, he had gained ground as the backup. Penix 9 for his last 9. He's thrown for 341. And now he takes off running again and slides with about a 6-yard gain. With his performance tonight, he's gone over 4,500 yards passing for the second year in a row. The last college quarterback to do that was Patrick Mahomes. Whatever happened to him? That was back in 2015 and 16 for Texas Tech.
It was like 2 MVPs ago, 2 Super Bowls ago, Baby Goat nickname delivered ago, a long time ago.
What a catch, boy, this Westover. What an athlete. He grew up wanting to play basketball. That's why he didn't play football until he was a senior in high school. He decided to play football his senior year, played in only 2 games. Broke his collarbone, but he had gone to Washington's football camp prior to the year and impressed so much that he was the MVP of the camp, even though he hadn't played football since the 7th grade. Well, they invited him to come as a walk-on, and he's been a very important part of this 13-0 team. 4 catches tonight. 3rd down and inches. And Johnson got enough. It goes back to what Steve Sarkisian said, Greg. You can't get behind Washington because they just kill the clock, and they're doing it already.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of comparisons over the last 4 weeks in breaking down this game of Washington's offense to TCU, Oklahoma, Houston, some of the teams that have given Texas fits. The one difference is that Washington, while utilizing tempo, doesn't live in tempo. They can mix and match and actually really play kind of slow and snap it under 10 on the play clock more often than not.
Richard Newton has committed running back. He goes out in the flat. Penix looked at him for a moment, now scrambles in this direction, is on target to Odunze. To the 49-yard line.
Ryan Grubb is really doing a nice job and really changing the launch point. He's mixing up some cadences, mixing up some tempo, doing the shifts that they've always done with great success, and finding some matchups on the biggest liabilities in coverage for the Texas defense. He's really calling a terrific game so far.
Plays under further review.
Like so many of these assistant coaches, Ryan Grubb goes back a long way with Kalen DeBoer. Let's take a look.
Firm control and 1 foot down. This call should be confirmed.
The question is, was it moving? Well, we shall see when we come back. Well, as you can see by the way they're lined up after the replay review, the play stands as called. It was a catch for Odunze, his 5th of the night for 93 yards. Ryan Watts came in, knocked it away. But that was the second act, as Matt Austin said. And it was well across the boundary. So now it's 2nd down and 1, 2.5 to go. Lofted for Bernard. Jeremy thrown forward by Anthony Hill. He's to the 35, and they're right on the edge of field goal range.
And a great job by the right tackle, Roger Rosengarten. Swats the defender past, and then he goes and finds his guy downfield. Takes care of Jahdae Barron. And another nice gain for the Huskies through the air.
Another double-digit gainer, 14 yards. Penix has completed all 11 here in the 3rd quarter and 12 in a row back to the end of the 1st half. They blitz him off the corner. And they have the answer the other side, but Tybo Rogers couldn't catch it.
Penix is not only throwing the ball beautifully, but he's seeing the field so well. And right there, unblocked defender coming off the right-hand side. He knows exactly where he's coming from. He moves away, buys some time, finds an outlet. It's an incompletion.
Well, that's one of the things Ryan Grubb said about him. He has amazing vision, incredible peripheral vision. He basically see the whole field, sideline to sideline, when he stands back there in the pocket. First downs in this quarter are 9-1 for Washington. They have taken control of the game. Penix, another design run. Not going to slide this time. Trying to have some of the Heisman voters who didn't vote for him rethink back.
And this is really nicely done and nicely designed here too. They get some movement up front. They pull Roger Rosengarten around. He gets up to the second level and Penix is out the gate.
Rogers, the running back. He cut to get away from Vernon Broughton. Alfred Collins took him down. Sweat's on the sideline. And it feels like the clock is racing for the Longhorns. We're into the final minute of the third quarter.
It's really feeling like Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator for the Longhorns. He needs to kind of force the issue a little bit. Needs to call a pressure. Needs to heat up Michael Penix to disrupt the rhythm, because right now Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator on the other side, is a step ahead.
Boy, it didn't look like they were ready for it. That looked like a design play by Washington trying to catch the Longhorns off guard. Ford made the tackle on Bernard. They don't have to snap it again. 5-yard gain. Complete domination by the Huskies in the third quarter. They were tied at 21 at the half. It's 31-21. Washington. As we head to the fourth quarter, the winner will advance to next Monday night's national championship game against the Michigan Wolverines.
Coach, how do you hold him to 3 here?
Well, we got to tighten up coverage-wise. We got to keep trying to apply some pressure. Holding the 3 will be big. Then we got to find some rhythm offensively. We haven't had the ball the whole third quarter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's an understatement. They ran 5 plays in the third quarter to 22 for Washington. 3rd down and 5. A big play here. 12:39 time of possession for the Huskies in the third quarter. Pressure up the middle and a whistle for a false start against Washington.
Blitz. False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Nate Caleppo, the left guard, with just the 2nd penalty of the night for the Huskies. They are still in field goal range. Five-man rush, plenty of time for Penix, and it's a little bit too long for Jalen McMillan. Jahdae Barron in coverage, so they do get the stop. And that penalty probably took any thought of going for it on 4th down out of the mind of Kalen DeBoer.
And a great job there by Jahdae Barron too. Tried to run a wheel route over the top. He stayed with it all the way. The throw was off the mark, and that was a critical stop for the Longhorns.
So here's Gross. 40-yard field goal try. And it is good. There's a flag down. It's offside against Texas. I would think Kalen DeBoer would take the points.
Offside. Defense number 41. Penalties decline. The score is good.
And a 13-point lead for the Huskies in the opening seconds of the fourth quarter. ESPN Hockey Night continues this Thursday, 7 p.m. The Pittsburgh Penguins at TD Garden to take on the Boston Bruins. Coverage starts with the point, 6 p.m. on ESPN2. A lot more hockey coverage in the new year now. The college football's winding down, the NFL winding down.
No, I'm ready for it. What's up with your bees, though? Not as good this year so far.
Well, they lost a lot of people. They're still doing very well. They're not my bees. Now in my role, I have to be impartial and straight down the middle.
That's true. It is winter, too, so you're a Scottsdale guy.
Quinn Ewers has his helmet back on. Arch Manning was warming up for a while. So here's Gross to kick off. Kalen Robinson and Savion Red are the deepest. Robinson's quite deep in the end zone. I think at this juncture, even if it's a deep kick, he might try to run it out, see if they can get a spark from a kick return. They're not going to give him that chance unless it's on the bounce. And he has trouble picking it up again. And excellent coverage by the Huskies. And the return only to the 16-yard line. So here comes Ewers, who did take a hard hit earlier in this second half from Braylon Trice.
Yeah, big collision. Trice goes right through the midsection, and Ewers hits his head immediately on the turf. Gets up. They checked him out on the sideline, but that was a big collision for Ewers. Glad to see he's okay.
He remains in the game. Xavier Worthy, the motion man. Jaden Blue to the 21. Here's Katie George.
Yeah, guys, after that hit, Quinn Ewers spent some time with Texas's head athletic trainer on the sidelines. He pointed to the back of his head multiple times. They checked him out. He ran back and forth down the sidelines, told him he was good to go.
Manning still warming up with his helmet on. Just kind of felt like at some point, given it's here in New Orleans, Arch's hometown, that he might get in the game at some point. Jatavion Sanders the catch. It was quite a scene here on Media Day a couple of days ago. Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback, and he had a table and a microphone. The starters did. Arch Manning was over on the bench on the sideline, surrounded by media, while literally nobody was talking to Quinn Ewers. Now, there is a caveat. They don't allow the freshmen to talk to the media all year long, so it was the first opportunity. The media had to talk to Arch Manning, and obviously back here in New Orleans, a big story, his hometown. And Ewers had other media availabilities during the week, but still, it was an odd scene. Here's Sanders. Nice run after the catch. Stayed in bounds for a while, finally out near the 43 with a 21-yard pickup.
Great recognition from Ewers here. Man coverage from Washington, not something they do an awful lot. Hampton in coverage on Sanders, can't catch him on the shallow cross.
And Texas trying to pick up the pace on offense. Wide open. Jaden Blue, nice cut. Couple of nice moves, and all of a sudden they're down inside the 23. The ball came out. And the officials, the line judge Jim Wary, saying he was down inside the 23 with a 21-yard gain.
Did look like as he was going to the ground.
Oh boy.
Boy, that ball is out
way out.
Well before he went to the ground. Now you have to see immediate recovery.
Did he get it back? Who wound up with it?
Certainly looks like it's Carson Bruner that comes away with it, who was on top.
Going on the field was the runner was down. The play's under further review. Timeout on the field.
And a critical instant replay review for Brian Smith.
After review, the runner fumbled the ball. It was recovered by the defense. First down, Washington.
We heard the referee, Ron Snodgrass. It was a fumble. It took a while for there to be a recovery, but at the end it was Braylon Trice, one of his teammates sitting on the ball, who ripped it away. Kind of a butt fumble. Looked like he ran into Gunnar Helm, his teammate. The ball might have just been sliding out a little bit before that contact. Penix As calm as can be, throws it away. And that's one of the things the coaches talked about. He is unflappable.
He just has such a great feel for the game. So even-keeled, so steady. Ryan Grubb says he can get excitable. It does happen from time to time, but not very often. Is Jaden Blue getting a bit of an earful there on the sideline, not being able to keep that ball tucked. Now both running backs for Texas, him and Baxter, have put it on the deck.
And the turnovers are 2 committed by Texas and 1 for Washington. The Huskies +1. And Penix getting greedy, has a man open. The ball's in the air forever. And it's incomplete, but there are flags. Rome Odunze the target. Terrence Brooks the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And this ball was in the air forever. They kind of bust the coverage. Odunze puts the mailman sign up, puts his arm up. The ball just can't travel that far. I mean, Penix can throw it a country mile. But Rome Odunze outruns the coverage there. Brooks makes a wise decision to draw the penalty. It would have been a huge completion if not for that.
52 yards.
Correct.
So the college rule, it's 15.
Good decision by Brooks to make the play, but another mistake by Texas to blow the coverage and allow the best receiver in college football down the field for a huge gain, possibly.
That's a big surprise tonight. The penalties are 9-2, 9 committed by Texas. Oh boy. They're having some fun now. Penix throws it away. They're going deep into Ryan Grubb's playbook, the offensive coordinator. We mentioned he goes way back with Kalen DeBoer. Ryan Grubb was 29 years old, wanted to be a coach and didn't have a job. He had been a GA at South Dakota State. John Stiegelmeier, legendary coach. That ran out. He couldn't find another job. He was pouring concrete, living in his sister's laundry room when he got a call from Kalen DeBoer. They had a mutual friend. Kalen needed a line coach at Sioux Falls. So Grubb joined the staff for $2,700. Penix's pass incomplete, broken up by Taff, and now Grubb's a $2 million offensive coordinator. Last offseason turned down Nick Saban, who wanted to come to Alabama and be the offensive coordinator. Said he couldn't leave after he told guys like Penix and Fautanu and others to stay with a chance to come back and perhaps win a national championship. Texas fans making noise. They know this 3rd down and 10 is critical. 4 straight incomplete passes. They've gotten a little cute here with the 13-point lead. 5-man rush, and with some tenacity, Penix had to check it down, and it's a fired up defense. Jalen Ford made the tackle. You wonder if that trickeration kind of irritated the Longhorns.
Might have.
Certainly seem to be playing with a little more energy right now.
Well, certainly getting close to a gotta-have-it situation with the offense having stalled here in the second half. Really absolutely having to get off the field in a 2-possession game. They really did a good job up front, forced Penix from the pocket a couple times, stayed true in coverage down the field, and give their offense another chance.
Xavier Worthy is back deep. Excellent punt returner. 17.9 per return this year. 2nd in the nation. And Zachariah Branch of USC, they need a big return from him. Did a good job to make the first couple of men miss, and then he gets thrown down by Carson Bruner. And no flag there. 41-yard punt, 8-yard return. It's now or never for Quinn Ewers and the Longhorn offense. You're watching the All-State Sugar Bowl.
The CFP semifinal at the All-State Sugar Bowl is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. Taco Bell and Capital One. What's in your wallet?
And aerial coverage high above Caesars Superdome is provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Washington Huskies hoping their road continues to Houston, Texas next Monday night, a day with Michigan in the national championship game. Quinn Ewers and the Longhorns up against it. Down by 13 with 11:19 to go. And they have not scored here in the second half. Starting from their own 28. With C.J. Baxter, the running back, and the tight end Tavion Sanders, the motion man. 3 yards for Baxter. And to McAllister, the backup safety.
For the first time in the second half, Texas finally found a little rhythm offensively on the last possession, and the guy that sparked that was Jatavion Sanders. Need to continue trying to feed him. He's a matchup nightmare for those Washington safeties.
A false start.
False start. Offense, number 52, 5-yard penalty, second down.
10th penalty against Texas. This one on DJ Campbell.
Another example of just one step forward and 2 steps back for Steve Sarkisian's offense.
66 yards in penalties. They average 51 per game coming in, middle of the pack in the country. Here's Adonai Mitchell. Uncharacteristic quiet night in a big game for Mitchell. He transferred from Georgia 2 years ago against Alabama. The go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter for 40 yards. Last year for the Bulldogs, he had a touchdown reception in each of their 2 wins in the CFP. On their way to their second straight national championship. He scored the first touchdown of the Big 12 title game a month ago for Texas. And Ewers goes down, and it's Trice again. And right now, picking the MVPs on either side is as easy to ever get. Trice on defense and Penix on offense.
And this is such a difficult task for DJ Campbell. He's trying to pull out, secure the backside for Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers steps up in the pocket. Trice retraces underneath and drops him for another sack. He's been outstanding tonight.
2 sacks for Washington. He now is 7 for the year. They haven't been a big sack team. Baxter, he's hobbling a little bit as he went to the boundary, and he still is. An 8-yard gain. He started hobbling before he got to the sideline.
Might have been the ball was thrown just behind him a little bit. He engages in contact there on a right foot. Looks like he's a little ginger there on the left foot, actually.
And he's still across the field on the Washington sideline. So they're going to stop the play so the Texas medical staff can tend to him. Wednesday night, 2 NBA matchups for you. ABC 8:30, the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks. On ESPN at 10, the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers were just right across the street last night. Take on the New Orleans Pelicans. NBA Countdown tips off the night at 7:30 on ESPN. So Baxter limps off. 9:26 to go. I mentioned Steve Sarkisian, first head coaching job at Washington. I think most Husky fans appreciate what he did there. Took over an 0-12 program the year before he arrived. Was 8-4 in his 5th year before he went to USC, place he considered home. He still has a connection to the University of Washington. He endowed a scholarship in the Graduate School of Education to support somebody studying to be a public school teacher in the state of Washington. Ewers down the sideline for Worthy. Xavier Worthy out of the witness protection program for a 29-yard gain.
And great recognition by Quinn Ewers, man-to-man coverage against Elijah Jackson. His that slot fade. Worthy wins, gets behind the defense. He drops it in there perfectly for a nice play.
It's the second catch of the night. They're poised to make this a football game with a long way to go. 9 minutes remaining. They're at the 16. Jaden Blue, the running back. Ewers dumped it down. Malik Ogbo, who comes in when they put extra offensive linemen on the field. Where's the number 80, sometimes number 67, his first catch.
Trying to find A.D. Mitchell there, but wisely done by Quinn Ewers checking it down, even though he threw it to an offensive lineman that's now converted to an overgrown tight end.
Finally finding a little bit of rhythm. Such an accurate passer earlier this year, 19 straight completions against Oklahoma, the school record. That one is off target, behind Worthy, who was open.
It was just a miscommunication between Quinn Ewers and Xavier Worthy. Worthy was at the top of his route, starting to set up the defender, and the ball was already on its way. Ewers expected him to snap his head around just a little bit faster and catch it low in the front of the end zone.
3rd down and 4. I would think, Greg, 4 down territory here, because the field goal, it's still a 2-score game, and they're taking a lot of time getting the right personnel on the field. They don't want to have to use the timeout in this instance. Jaden Blue, the running back. They pitch it to him. He's in trouble. He missed a tackle. Avoided the tackle from Cameron Fabiculanen. And they move the chains with a 1st and goal at the 3. Big miss by Fabiculanen.
And just a great move by Blue, too. He has that hesitation step, gets to the outside and picks up the 1st down.
1st and goal, 8 minutes to go. Blue again, swung down shy of the goal line by Dominique Hampton. C.J. Baxter back in the game after he limped off not long ago. They faked it to him, and it is caught. Adonai Mitchell with yet another catch in a college football playoff game. Looked for a moment like he might have jumped too early, but he still made the catch with Elijah Jackson in coverage.
Perfectly placed football by Quinn Ewers, high into the back shoulder, where his 6'4" wide receiver on the outside can go up, time it perfectly, and reel it in.
Good thing he has some hang time.
Terrific execution there, and a massive score for the Longhorns.
It's a 1-score game, and a lot of game pressure now on the Huskies. Bert Auburn drives through the extra point. They went 72 yards in 10 plays, took 3:56 off the clock, but still nearly a full half a quarter to go. Mitchell, his 11th touchdown reception of the season, leading the Big 12. It's a 6-point game. Adonai Mitchell, the touchdown catch. There's Texas right back in it, playing in his 5th college football playoff game in the last 3 years. Last 2 years with Georgia, now with Texas. And he's had a touchdown in all 5 of them.
He was due, man. You'll see in a minute. He kind of called his shot there to the Texas sideline.
He made an immediate impact in clutch form for Texas as well. 2nd game of the year at Alabama. He had 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns in their huge win over the Crimson Tide. Stone the touchback, and they'll start, well, the Huskies at the 25.
And here's the 2-play sequence a moment ago. This is the play before the touchdown. A.D. Mitchell frustrated, looking over the sideline. Give me the ball. Feed me. Tapping on his chest, asking for it. Then they decide to give him a chance, and he makes the most of it by catching in the back shoulder. Perfect throw to make this a 6-point game.
He's a junior, came back to Texas in part because he's from Missouri City, wanted to be closer to family. So Penix hardly missed all night, but won for his last 5. And pressured immediately, got it off. behind the line of scrimmage, and no gain on the play. Jalen Polk actually lost a half yard, and there is a flag down. The 10 Texas penalties, by the way, matching their season high. Also had 10 against Kansas State.
There is no foul on the play for a block in the back. Second down.
Steve Sarkisian wants to know why that wasn't a penalty.
Good look. And Quentin Moore, number 88, pushes Ryan Watts right in the back on the Texas sideline. I'm surprised they didn't call a foul.
After conversation, they picked it up. 2nd and 11. Penix, sideline. Another catch for Westover. He's 2 yards short of the first down. Here comes an enormous 3rd down and 2 for Washington.
Big situations like this all season long. Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb and Michael Penix have looked in the direction of Rome Odunze. Big play, game on the line, critical down and distance. He's been the guy all season long that has stepped up for the Huskies. Will he do it here?
3rd and 2. They're 2 out of 8 on 3rd down. 6:20 to go in the college football playoff semifinal. Short set, and it's Westover again for the first down.
They just motion Westover over. Zone coverage by Texas. He sits it down. They see it immediately, and you can see number 6, Ryan Watts, looking up in frustration, saying, how did we not cover the tight end on a little stick route? It's such an easy pitch and catch for Michael Penix.
6 catches for Westover. His career high is 7 in their win over Utah. Jalen McMillan, good blocking on the perimeter to help spring him into Texas territory to the 49 with a gain of 14.
This trio of wide receivers, they really do a great job, obviously catching the ball. As you can see, McMillan bringing one right up off his shoelaces. It's a difficult catch on the bubble route, but the blocking downfield by Polk and Odunze really allowed for a lot of room after the catch.
And the clock will go under 5 minutes in the 4th quarter. Washington doing what it's done all year, finding a way to make plays down the stretch in close games. Johnson took Sorrell for a ride. Barron got some help from Jahdae Barron, but still a 6-yard gain. Washington, as we mentioned, has won 9 straight games by 10 points or fewer. That is the longest such streak in the history of the AP poll era, which goes back to 1936. And they might add another one to the list, leading by 6. Penix is thrown for 398. Trying to get above 400, and he's on target. Odunze the catch with Ryan Watts in coverage. It's a first down at the 10-yard line.
And this is lock and combo coverage. Press man on the point of the stack. He's in man-to-man. Watts gets beat right off the snap. And Odunze goes right behind him, and the ball, like usual, down the field, perfectly thrown again by Michael Penix.
For 32 yards. He's up to 430 yards. First and goal, they let the clock go all the way down. Rodgers. When you're Steve Sarkisian, when you start using the timeouts right here.
Yeah, this is where you start to think about it for sure.
They're going to run the full play clock every time.
You'll be able to take at least a minute, 22 minutes off the clock on this 3-play sequence, and a field goal basically makes this thing a 2-possession game, and under 2 minutes to play, that's going to be very difficult. So I might start thinking about spending those soon.
Three minutes to go. Rodgers again. And here comes the timeout as they stop him for a 2-yard loss. Sarkisian down the sideline to use the first timeout.
Charge timeout, Texas, their first of the half.
Texas has made a game of it, but really in trouble here, because even if they force a field goal is pretty much a killer at this juncture.
It really is. I mean, you have to strip the football. I mean, that's really what it's all about. So if I'm Kalen DeBoer and I'm visiting with my ball carriers, I've seen a few balls on the deck from the Texas side tonight. Make sure you double over the football. No matter what, don't worry about driving for extra yards. Don't worry about motoring over a defender. Give yourself up with immediate initial contact to preserve the right to kick the field goal, which would ultimately put this thing to bed more than likely.
Steve Sarkisian, very eloquent this week. Dismissed at USC in 2015 in the middle of the season as he was dealing with an alcohol problem. He said, "I never thought I'd be here right now." So I couldn't even get a job interview. Nick Saban gave him a chance as an analyst, and he worked his way back. Got his life in order. He said, "I'm the happiest and healthiest I've ever been." And what a great example he is to people watching around the country, have their own demons to deal with. And he brings pressure on Penix, who got away from Jalen Ford, but throws incomplete. So they went for a pass. It's an incomplete pass that stops the clock, and it'll be 4th down and goal. And now a huge field goal try for Grady Gross.
One of the few play calls tonight I've disagreed with from Ryan Grubb. I would elect to be conservative. That timeout is gold now that Steve Sarkisian gets to preserve. They try to be aggressive. They put it in the hands of their best player. He has to ground it, which stops the clock.
Gross puts that right foot down, says he points it right where he wants to aim. 27-yard field goal. Will be a big step toward the national championship game if he can split those uprights, and he did. Cool as a cucumber. The sophomore from Scottsdale. Back to a 2-score game. Washington leading 37-28 with 2:40 to go.
Scott Van Pelt here in the nation's capital, getting set for SportsCenter. Following this one, we'll visit with the winning head coach. Kirk Herbstreit will join us to preview the title game from the Rose Bowl. We'll talk to Blake Corum as well as Michigan knocked off Bama in a thriller. Back now to New Orleans for the finish. Texas fight, trying to get back in it. John and Greg, Happy New Year, gentlemen.
Same to you, SVP. Thank you. Washington with a 2-score lead again. Jordan Whittington deepest now for Texas. 2 times tonight, Gross has scripted down the field. And he does it again. Tried a number of different options, has Texas back deepest. Whittington did well to maneuver his way to the 24. Here's tonight's Capital One rewarding performance.
I don't know how you could look in any direction other than Michael Penix. I mean, he's been absolutely outstanding. Started in the first quarter with a beautiful deep V route, continued on, throwing into tight windows down the field, challenging defenders, giving his receivers a chance. Continue to make plays. He's also done a great job, too. I mean, it's a great pass rush from the Texas Longhorns. He's moved in the pocket, kept his eyes downfield, split the safeties there with the 100-mile-an-hour fastball right between the middle of the defense. He's been terrific, even though he cooled off a little in the second half. His fireworks in the first half gave him some breathing room.
If you cool off and you still have 4:30, you're all right. Here's Ewers. They need a lot, and they need it fast. That's a good start. 12 yards to Adonai Mitchell. Penix is 430, by the way, 3rd most in Sugar Bowl history. Tim Tebow 482 for Florida against Cincinnati in 2010. Rohan Davey for LSU 444 in 2002 against Illinois. Ewers takes off running, will get as much as he can, which includes a first down, and then goes out of bounds.
The other thing too here for the Texas Longhorns, not quite to the point where you're in Mayday operation, but you can think as you get near the 30, 25, if time starts to work against you, you can think about taking that field goal onside kick and then taking a couple shots at the end zone in a Hail Mary situation. So that's in the back of Steve Sarkisian's mind right now.
Ewers has rushed for 46 yards. They average 6.6 per carry. He lofts it for Sanders, caught 31-yard line, first down. Jatavion Sanders, their leading receiver tonight with a 6th catch. That one for 20 yards.
What's been massive about this drive for Texas is that every single completion has gone for a first down or out of bounds, so very little time has really run off the clock.
Quinn Ewers sidestepped the rush. There's a flag down in the middle of the field. A Texas player got knocked down at the 25-yard line. Ewers out of bounds. There's a flag right in the center of the field, and it's Sanders who's on his knees. His 6 catches tonight, by the way, makes him the all-time leading receiver at Texas among tight ends with 101 career catches, passing David Thomas.
Defense number 7, 10 yards penalty from the end of the run, first down.
There's Dominique Hampton.
He's in man coverage against Sanders, and as Sanders tries to release over the top of him, that left arm of Hampton grabs him and throws him to the ground. It's a good call by the official, but Sanders still in pain is being evaluated by the trainers. Hopefully he'll be okay.
There's knee on knee. Sanders is a terrific player. Mel Kiper Jr. has him rated as the 2nd best tight end, eligible for the next draft behind Brock Bowers of Georgia. And that's the guy they'd certainly like to have out there right now. Been their best receiver tonight. Big target in the red zone. After the game, stay tuned for the Ram Trucks post game on ESPN, including the All-State Sugar Bowl trophy ceremony. Offensive and defensive MVPs will be announced. If it stays this way, Bill Penix is going to be the guy no matter what you would think. I'd say Trice has a good chance. 1st and 10. Down by 9. They need 2 scores. They still have 2 timeouts. Jaden Blue back in at running back. Ewers to the sideline, caught. It's the backup tight end, Gunnar Helm, with his 14th catch of the year. Good for 6. And a clock stopper. And Ewers, after a very slow start, is up to 262 yards passing.
The guy in this part of the field that you want to work in one-on-one is Adonai Mitchell. He's at the top of the screen in press coverage. Let's see if they get a one-on-one look. They'll take advantage of it.
And Sanders is back on the field at the left end of the line. They lob it up for Mitchell in one-on-one coverage, and the pass is incomplete. Thaddeus Dixon, the defender. Third down and 4, 1:15 to go. And it raises the point you raised. If they don't get this, do they kick the field goal here and try for the onside kick? Sarkisian hoping he doesn't have to make that decision. Wants the touchdown right here. Ewers batted down again. And here is that decision. He doesn't hesitate. He sends the field goal team on. Tui Tele knocked the pass out of the air. So here's Bert Auburn, who earlier this season made 19 straight field goals, the school record. 28 is 3rd most in Big 12 conference history. The record is 30 by Josh Lambert of West Virginia. Unless he gets another chance, he's going to come up one shy of that, but he connected. from 25 yards. And here comes an onside kick they'll have to have. Michigan awaits the winner. It's next Monday, a week from tonight, 7:30 on ESPN. We should note selfishly, Greg, also on ESPN Radio. College football playoff national championship game presented by AT&T. Michigan and the winner of this one. Michigan a 27-20 overtime winner against Alabama today, trying to win its first national championship since 1997.
On the kickoff.
Washington has won one national title back in 1991 under the late, great Don James. That was the last time they had an undefeated season. They went 12-0. But a terrific program for a long time, for about a 3-decade stretch there, starting in the mid-70s. They were the winningest program in the pack.
Just amazing what Kalen DeBoer has been able to do in such a short period of time. And in critical situations all year long, they always seem to make the play. Here, Hand's team, an operation where Texas will have 2 kickers on the field. Which direction will they go? And it'll be up to McMillan and Adunze to reel it in.
Stone and Auburn are both out there. And a timeout called by Washington.
Charge timeout, Washington. They're first of the half.
Kalen DeBoer didn't back away from it. He told his players during the week, this is the biggest game of your life. And if you win it, you'll play in an even bigger one. He knows what it's like. Played in 4 national championship games when he was at Sioux Falls, 5 years as the head coach. His alma mater, won 3 of them, lost in the championship game once. Remarkable coach, just now getting his due at age 49. First onside attempt of the season for Texas. And all 11 Huskies are right up near the 45-yard line.
Looks like with the way they're setting the ball on the ground, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a corkscrew onside kick where it's going to be turning sideways as opposed to up and down.
Would you be tempted against this alignment to pop it over their heads and go chase it? They're not going to do it. It needs to go 10 yards. And it didn't go 10. It doesn't matter. Washington recovered it. It was Josh Cuevas, one of their backup tight ends, and that should just about put it away. Quinn Ewers and Texas rallied back, but barring a huge mistake by Washington, it'll be the Huskies on their way to Houston to play Michigan for the national title. Dylan Johnson ahead for a couple. Timeout Texas, leaving the Longhorns with one.
Timeout Texas, their second.
Steve Sarkisian,
you got to rip the ball out.
Tell him to rip the ball out, which is why if I'm Kalen DeBoer, I'm reminding Dylan Johnson or whoever the ball carrier is going to be, don't even try for extra yards. Fall down in initial contact, and if you break it, go to the ground. Give yourself up.
I'm surprised they even risked the handoff.
Yeah, I would just kneel on it, but got to take a couple seconds off with Texas having 2 timeouts remaining at the start of this possession.
There's some question about Ewers if he'd be back next year. Steve Sarkisian said, I think he will be. Ewers told us he hadn't made up his mind, but he was leaning in the direction. I think the feeling was if he had 2 big games in the playoff, maybe he'd go. I would think after tonight, it's much more likely he'll be back. Johnson again, and the last Texas timeout with 1:02.
Charge timeout Texas, their third and final timeout.
And here is the quarterback comparison. The CFP record, by the way, for passing yards in a game is 493 by Joe Burrow in the 2019 Peach Bowl against Oklahoma. I think he had those in the first 10 minutes of the game. So Penix is not going to get there. But it's the second most in a semifinal and the fourth most all-time in a CFP game.
Just a terrific night all around, and a couple snaps away and one first down from being able to kneel on this thing in the best formation in football, victory formation.
Are you surprised Mel has him ranked as only the 5th best quarterback in the draft?
That thing might need some tweaking as we move closer to the draft in April. His parents looking on. Michael and Takesha, Penix.
They've been through a lot, haven't they? With all those injuries at Indiana. They put their faith in Kalen DeBoer. DeBoer was on the job for 9 days when he brought Penix in out of the transfer portal. He said it's the most important thing that happened to execute this turnaround. Michael knew the offense. The off-season workouts were, it was players only, and he basically tell them, here's how we run the offense.
He's done a great job of explaining it, that's for sure. And
Ryan Johnson on that last carry, now writhing in pain on the ground.
And this is potentially huge too, because that clock was going to go all the way under 20 seconds, probably closer to 15 seconds, but now the clock is stopped as a result of an injured player.
Texas has declined the option of a 10-second runoff due to the player injury. The clock will start on the snap.
Probably the easiest decision that Steve Sarkisian's had to make. It's Alfred Collins on the tackle. And as Molly reported, he's had a foot injury for a while and has played with distinction through it.
This now, though, the injury, I mean, saving potentially around 32 seconds of game clock. This thing is now very much up in the air. I mean, Texas is going to likely have terrible field position after the punt. But either way, they actually have a chance now as opposed to what it was a moment ago.
Clock is going to start on the snap, and Johnson's helped off. And obviously, if he can't go, they win this. If he can't go next week against Michigan, that is an enormous loss, and he is obviously in a tremendous amount of pain.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. I mean, he's been a warrior all season long. Has been so tough, battling back from injury last year after the transfer, and you can see in a ton of pain right now as he's helped off to the sideline. And if you're Texas,
over from Mississippi State, wanted to be a more complete back there in the Mike Leach offense. He was more of a pass catcher. So they're going to have to punt it.
Got to think Texas is going to come after this one.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 50 seconds. 5-0.
They blocked punts this year. Remember, they blocked a punt for a touchdown against Oklahoma. McAllister will just want to get it off as quickly as he can. It's his third punt.
I want to hesitate too. If you draw Texas offside, you get a free first down potentially.
And then a false start. Jordan Whittington is the deep man.
False start. Offense number 54, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Now, I'm surprised by that. Worthy is one of the best punt returners in the country. Wonder if there's something wrong with him. Whittington had returned 1 punt all year. They're probably surmising that they wouldn't punt it to Worthy and give him a chance. He gets it off. Whittington almost interfered with. He was interference on the fair catch against Washington. It was the snapper, Jaden Green, who got down there quickly and got too close.
Wow. What a turn of events these last couple moments. I mean, now they're going to get the ball near the 30-yard line. They're going to have plenty of time to get within striking distance of a Hail Mary.
Good catch interference. Kicking team number 89, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's a big one. 15 will get him out around the 30-yard line, as Greg said. No question about the call. He actually grazed him.
Just a big mistake there. I mean, really everything in the last couple moments has not been good, but if you're Quinn Ewers, you got to get the drive started, you got to work the boundary, everything has to go beyond the line to gain, and in the event in which you're stopped short, you got to have a play ready, a fastball ready to snap it as fast as humanly possible.
Field goal does them no good. They need to go 69 yards, 45 seconds, no timeouts. Now bear in mind, Washington, statistically one of the worst pass defenses in the country in the regular season. The throw too quick. Sanders hadn't turned to see the ball. Washington was 119th in the nation in pass defense during the year. Again, the coaches say a lot of that's because they were ahead so often throughout the year, and the other team kept throwing the ball, trying to get back into the game. They're going to put up some numbers.
A lot of teams would opt to play prevent defense here, but Washington a little more aggressive. Their defensive backs are a little bit closer, forcing the issue and trying to disrupt the timing of the Texas release.
Down the middle again. Sanders didn't seem to know that the ball was coming in his direction. Dominique Hampton was running in coverage.
Two plays in a row from Washington's defense. Chuck Morrell playing two-man, two high safeties, man coverage underneath. If you get that look again, you want to try to work an outbreaker to your best route runner, which would be Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, where is he, right? He's got the speed. He's in the slot there. Out to the right. Closest to the line in the three receivers to the right. Ewers lofts it up. There's single coverage, and it's caught! Jordan Whittington with Jabbar Muhammad in single coverage. 30 seconds to go. There to the Washington 28.
What a catch by Whittington, and how about the throw from Ewers? Need to go quickly here.
No timeouts. The clock's running. They're down by 6. 25 seconds to go. To the end zone and incomplete. Looking for Adonai Mitchell with Muhammad in coverage again. And Muhammad's slow to get up. And they're going to stop the play for him. He's an excellent cover corner.
Timeout. Defensive injury.
And they're without one of their starting cornerbacks.
Quinn Ewers trying to take advantage of the significant mismatch that is A.D. Mitchell against the 5'10". Muhammad lands awkwardly on that shoulder, and hopefully he'll be okay.
Timeout Washington on their heels.
Charge timeout Washington. Their second. A 30-second timeout.
What a turn of events. And so unfortunate for Kalen DeBoer in Washington. Dylan Johnson gets hurt and the clock stops. Texas 1-42 and trailing by 13 or more in the fourth quarter. Down by 13. That one win was in 2020 against Texas Tech.
A moment ago, Texas opted to try to basically create double coverage on their two best weapons, but we told you in the beginning of the show, can't forget about Jordan Whittington. He's in one-on-one. He goes up, times the play perfectly, wins that matchup, and gives Texas a chance here right outside the red zone.
So no Jabbar Muhammad. 20 seconds to go. 2nd and 10. They're on the 28. They have not led tonight. Trying to take the lead in the final seconds. To the sideline. Caught by Blue. They're going to mark it inbounds at the 12-yard line. Nifty over-the-shoulder catch for 16 yards. Was he in? Oh, I don't know.
Very close.
Looked like a bit of a bobble there.
He has it, but does he have firm control at that point?
Wow, is that a close call?
Very close.
Surprised they don't stop it. Now they're going to. Center judge came flying in. Brian Banks.
Ruling on the field was a completed pass. It plays under further review.
Did he just lose control of it for a split second to gather it back in? Right there. Did both hands come off the ball?
It's called on the field as a catch, so it has to be indisputable.
Right there, you know, he's a foot in. Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, it's a tough call, and it's one of the biggest calls of the season in college football.
It is, and it's extremely subjective. He gets the ball in his fingertips, and afterwards the ball really doesn't move a lot. I think they're going to let this call stand.
It's a great effort there by Blue, and having the understanding. He dropped one earlier on a very similar play. This time it was a more difficult catch. He's somehow able to reel it in by the tips of his fingers and drop that foot in bounds.
Well, it's a huge call. If it stands, it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line with 15 seconds to go. If not, they'll bring it back out to the 28-yard line. Texas is lining up at the 12 as if they think it's going to stand. But no word yet from Ron Snodgrass.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
My goodness. First and 10 at the 12 with 15 seconds to go.
And you look at this play right here. Best receivers out here. I'd go double post. I'd go Worthy on the outside and hit A.D. Mitchell on a post.
Timeout
right
Washington. Jabbar Muhammad is back in, number 1 on the bottom of your screen. He was lined up opposite A.D. Mitchell. And that's a big boost to the Washington defense. Unbelievable. You know, the first 8 years of the college football playoff, the semifinals were very one-sided, decided by an average of 21.5 points per game. The last 2 years, these semifinals have been tremendous. Hard to imagine about 10 minutes ago in real time that we'd be watching this right now.
Yeah, I mean, even 3-4 minutes ago, it's pretty remarkable what went down and what it took to get to this position. You have an injury to a Washington player that allows the clock to stop. It forces Washington to call a timeout, which saves about 35 or 40 seconds for the Texas Longhorns. They would have had 15 seconds way deep in their own end. They have the running into and the interference on the kick-catch interference, and it was a huge problem. But a similar formation for Texas and one they were just in. I think you're going to see a double post move right here. Worthy will grab, and then Adonai Mitchell will be on the outside.
Ewers dumps it off in the flat to Blue. Wow. Strange play. And you run the risk. I mean, if he gets tackled in bounds, it's ball game over. Season over.
Got to look in the direction of A.D. Mitchell. 2 game-winning touchdowns in his career in the college football playoff and championships. He's the guy I'm targeting in a one-on-one. Number 5 is the direction I'm looking, is at the top of the screen.
2nd and 11 from the 13-yard line. Under 10 seconds to go. Ewers back in the end zone, incomplete. Trying to get it to Mitchell. Uncatchable over his head. And now perhaps time for just one more play. 2 if it's quick. Steve Sarkisian's made his name as a play caller. Never had one bigger than this. They move the tight end Sanders close to the line at the right end. He's had a huge night. He's a big target in the end zone. Ewers in trouble and just didn't get it off. Mish Powell came on a blitz. The clock is at all zeros. Is that the last play? The players don't think so. Neither team has come out onto the field. Mish Powell came on a blitz and forced the throw.
Please put 1 second on the game.
Oh,
clock.
my goodness. Could it get any more dramatic?
Mish Powell off the left side, unblocked. And Quinn Ewers just gets rid of it before that knee hits the ground. And as you can see, 1 second remaining on the clock.
We're barring a penalty. This is it. Texas trailing all night long. One last chance to advance to the national championship game. Ewers lobs it up, and it is incomplete. Intended for Mitchell. Elijah Jackson had the coverage. Washington hangs on and wins the All-State Sugar Bowl in the college football playoff semifinal. Just the latest in a remarkable season of high-wire acts. They created some of their own problems down the stretch. That is 10 straight wins by 10 points or less.
Just a terrific play by Elijah Jackson. His eyes are in the backfield the entire time. He sees the ball leave Quinn Ewers' hands. He tracks it the whole way. He times his jump perfectly and swats it away to secure the victory. You cannot play the fade any better than that on a critical down and distance. Well executed on a game that didn't appear like it was going to have drama at the finish. It delivers with a terrific, terrific play defensively.
And the defensive coaches told us during the week, yeah, we've given up some yards, but when they've needed the defense to make a big play all season long, the defense has made a big play. And none bigger than that one by Elijah Jackson. Here's Molly with Kalen DeBoer.
Coach, that was a close one. What was going through you during that final play of the game?
You know, you just got to move on when tough breaks come your way, and we talk about it all the time, and not let negative thoughts, get in your head. And so I'm just really proud of the way the guys, are out there just battling, focus on the next play, being in the moment, and playing and not having any regrets.
Your defense told us this week they felt like their toughness and their physicality was questioned. What kind of statement did that group make here tonight?
Yeah, I thought they played a really good game. There was times when they ran the ball here and there, but it was hard for them to put drives together and just have some continuity. Got off the field. We won the time of possession pretty handily, both sides doing a good job to just control the game. Obviously, it came down closer than probably what I would thought it should have based on how we played, but it is what it is.
Your quarterback, Michael Penix, with 430 passing yards, he came back for this moment. What kind of inspired performance did you see from him?
The guy was on a mission. He was on a mission. The last month, just since the Pac-12 championship, realizing that it's right there in front of us, right there in front of him, maybe even being number 2 in the whole voting thing, and some of that put a chip on his shoulder too. But our team just in general, want to just go out there and continue to prove that we got a great football team, and we deserve and we earned it. That's what I'd say about how we played, and I love them.
Your running back Dylan Johnson with an injury there at the end of the game. What can you tell us about him and how that may affect next week?
Yeah, I don't even know the severity. Obviously, he looked like he was in a lot of pain. We kind of focused on the situation and the unfortunate piece with that, with the guy going down in the clock situation. But he's a huge part of this team, and so. Obviously, looks like he's hurt pretty good, but we got to pick it up for him if that's what it is.
All right, thank you, Coach. Congratulations. We'll see you in Houston.
Yeah, thank you.
Katie.
Thanks, Molly. Michael, first and foremost, congratulations. What was going through your mind as you were watching your defense make that final stop?
Man, just continue to believe, man. Obviously it wasn't pretty. The defense, they hold themselves to a high standard, and they hold themselves accountable in every situation. So they wouldn't have wanted to be that close, but, as a whole team, on the sideline, just everybody believing, everybody just trusting that they were going to come up with that big-time stop. They done it all throughout the year. So, man, it was great, man. It was amazing.
Overall, it was a brilliant team performance tonight. Why is it that every time you and your teammates step between these lines, you deliver?
Man, just because our bond, man, the love that we have for one another, man, and, just everything we've been through, all the off-season stuff that we've been through. And, we just found ways to overcome and always battle to find a way to win, and that's what it was about today. We just played a great team, and, finding a way to win, that's what we've been doing all year. And, this is a great one, though.
It seemed like you were in a great rhythm all evening long. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, man, I'll just say Coach Grubb, man, just him just making sure my preparation was on point, just each and every day, throughout practice as well. Being out here in New Orleans for the whole Sugar Bowl, it's been a blessing, but it could get distracted. You could get distracted a little bit, just being here for quite a few days, but just seeing the team lock in, and when it was time to work, they came to work, and that's what led to this win.
When you think of the adversity you've overcome, the verge of possibly quitting, to now next Monday playing in a national championship game with these guys, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, first of all, I'm going to say I'm not no quitter. I won't say I was going to quit. It did get hard for me at times, but, I had to lean on the ones that I love the most, man. But it means a lot, to be here. I'm super blessed, and I got to thank the man above. I got to thank God for everything that, he's put me through to get to this point, man. It's been a blessing, and, I've been enjoying the journey.
Congratulations, enjoy.
All right, thank you. Dade City, Tampa, Florida, we up. Hey, free Julio. I remember you. I ain't forget about you, brother. Love y'all.
Sean.
You just made somebody back in Tampa very happy. It's the Ram Trucks post game as we put an exclamation point on this phenomenal day of college football, the 10-year history of the CFP. Heard Reese Davis say on game day this morning that this day, these two matchups in the semifinal look like the most even matchups. Yeah. And boy, did it live up to that. And this one, Washington, when you have the kind of season they have, every game is close. It finds a way to get close. To have one of your own players get hurt, to stop the clock, to put you in that situation where you're just hanging on for dear life. Kind of the way their season's gone, but they always win.
They always find a way. It's the most remarkable thing. You watch them offensively, defensively, when someone has to make a play, whether it's a 4th and 1 reverse to Rome Odunze, whether it's a back shoulder throw against Oregon State to Rome Odunze on 3rd and 3 in wet weather, whether it's a great PBU by Elijah Jackson with the game on the line and the championship on the line potentially, they find a way. It's a resilient group that does have a flair for the dramatic, but at the same time, man, they've earned every single thing they've gotten this year, and they're going to be a great possible champion if they can get it done a week from now.
Kalen DeBoer just looks remarkably calm through all of it. Oh, yeah, that happened. We won. We'll keep going.
Well, it's a lot.
He came out firing, didn't he? Right out of the gate. 77-yard completion to Jalen Polk on the first series of the game for Washington.
Yeah, and it really was taking advantage of the safeties all day long for Texas. And I thought Penix did a great job moving in the pocket, did a great job of identifying where those safeties were at all times. And in the red zone here, when the windows get tighter, you see the velocity on the fastball. They're splitting the safeties for a big touchdown there early in the second half. Just a terrific performance from start to finish from the Heisman runner-up.
4th highest passing yardage total in a college football playoff game. His 430 tonight. And that's the way he started the season. He opened the season with 3 straight 400-yard-plus games. Hoping for another one. They'll play one more against Michigan next Monday night in Houston for the national championship. Kalen DeBoer knows what it's like to play for a national title. He won 3 of them at the NAIA level. Bigger stage next Monday. Back with more from New Orleans right after this.
The Ram Trucks postgame is brought to you by Ram Trucks, America's best light-duty pickup for new vehicle quality.
Welcome back to the Ram Trucks postgame from Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Washington a winner. They're 14-0 and on to the national title game. Time for the trophy presentation. Here's Molly.
Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the All-State Sugar Bowl Trophy ceremony. First, I want to congratulate both teams on their historic seasons and making it this far to the college football playoff semifinal. I would also like to introduce the chairman, CEO, and president of All-State, Tom Wilson, and the president of the All-State Sugar Bowl, Richard Breedy. Richard?
On behalf of the All-State Sugar Bowl and the College Football Playoff, I want to congratulate both teams on an outstanding game and a wonderful season. But now, on behalf of the College Playoff Semifinal and the All-State Sugar Bowl, it's time to present the All-State Sugar Bowl trophy to Coach DeBear and the Washington Huskies.
Coach DeBoer, congratulations. In just your second season with Washington, you're taking them to the national championship. Why is this the group that could get that done?
Well, they all stuck together, and these guys are the most resilient guys I've ever been around. They made a goal. They all came back to do something special, and these guys, I just can't say enough about how much I love them, and they just keep bringing it each and every day, each and every week to achieve the goals that they set forth a year ago.
Coach, you hoisted the trophy and you immediately handed it to your quarterback, Michael Penix. How much of him returning has set forth this path to the national championship?
Yeah, I mean, he's been on a mission since a year ago when he chose to come back, and a lot of other guys, I think, followed his lead. And even the last month, just everything he's done, leading our football team all day today, just each and every drive, just making the plays he needed to help us find a way to win.
That brings us to our most outstanding player on offense for tonight's game. Who else but Michael Penix? Michael, 430 passing yards in this game. You told us earlier this week, I've yet to play my best game as a Husky. Was tonight it?
No, we got one more to go. We got one more to go.
Michael, when you decided to return for a sixth season, could you ever have imagined this, and why?
Man, definitely, man. That's definitely the biggest reason we came back. You know, I said it before the season started. You know, our goal was to win a national championship, and now we got the opportunity, we got the shot to do it. So, man, Husky Nation, stand up, man. We going to the Natty, man. Let's go.
And next, I'd like to present our most outstanding player for defense, Braylon Trice. Braylon, you told me earlier this week you felt like your defense was disrespected, your toughness was questioned. What kind of statement did your defense make here tonight?
Huge statement. I mean, we're always disrespected, always made the underdogs, but look where it got us, right? Big dubs, go Dogs.
Hey, Braylon, really quick before I let you go, what do you think about taking on Michigan in the Natty?
Bring it on. Let's go. Business is business.
All right, congratulations to the Washington Huskies, the 2024 All-State Sugar Bowl champions. Husky fans, we're going to see you in Houston at the national championship.
Kalen DeBoer told us, we visited a couple of days ago, he knew they had something special going when they had a number of players, including Penix. And here's the matchup, Michigan and Washington. Over the winter, he said it was a very cold, unusually cold in Seattle. February day, about 21 degrees, wind chill in the teens. Their indoor facility has been used by another team on campus. And he looked out and he saw the team practicing outside in that weather and out there for a very long time. That's when he knew they were serious about this mission toward the national championship. Now they line up against Michigan. What do you think? Your initial thoughts?
It's going to be a phenomenal matchup and really a contrast in styles. You think about what Washington is. They have elite weapons on the perimeter, a group that's going to create big plays. Doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing the 85 Bears. They're going to move the ball some. That's just going to happen against a Michigan defense that has been so good all season long and an offense that really prioritizes running the football. And if you look at tonight's performance, Washington did not do a great job against the run. I mean, Texas had success on the ground, so it's really going to be a fascinating game to see who can dictate the tempo and the identity of how the game ultimately plays out.
Definitely a contrast in styles. You know, Jim Harbaugh, likes hard-nosed, old-fashioned football. They've adapted, but he'd prefer to run it. If he could play with more than a couple of fullbacks and tight ends, he would. And this is the modern passing attack, obviously, with Washington. It's really going to be a fascinating matchup.
It's going to be amazing. I mean, I think sometimes when we watch Michigan, for example, against Penn State, it's like throwing the ball is a sign of weakness. So they are very much going to try to impose their will at the line of scrimmage, but that's what Texas thought they could do too. That's what many teams have thought when playing against Washington. This team is equipped to win the national championship. They have elite skill, they have an elite quarterback, they have difference makers defensively. So it's going to be a very difficult matchup for the Wolverines in a terrific championship game.
And the countdown to Houston is underway.
This is Houston, we're copying.
We are go for launch.
Within 10 seconds, mark.
9.
Wait your whole life long turns like this.
T-minus 5.
4. Go.
3.
Go.
2.
Go.
Mission. Lifts off.
0. Let's go.
Live from Houston on ESPN. 1 week from tonight, 7:30 Eastern Time. Michigan and Washington for the national championship. Interesting to see if the Huskies are the underdog again, despite 21 straight wins. One shy of the second longest winning streak in school history. They won 22 in a row back in the early 90s. And in the middle of that, in 1991, was a national championship season. Trying to earn their second. Thanks to our great crew led by Phil Dean and Scott Johnson. Been a tremendous year all year long with this crew, with you, Greg, and Molly, and we welcome Katie George tonight. So long from New Orleans. Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt is next.